Some people are easily noticed because they go through life with a calm assurance and constant composure. They seem as if they have something special within them, like an invisible protective shield that protects them from chaos, criticism, and the many distractions that often exhaust others. This isn't because their life is easier or because they were born with extraordinary abilities. They have simply learned to create clarity, stay strong, and discover their own power. In a noisy world, many people get caught up in a whirl of other people's opinions, expectations, and endless tasks. They seek approval, react quickly to problems, and allow others to dictate their behavior. Over time, this leaves them feeling tired, empty, and insecure. But there is another way to live, one in which you determine your own direction and consciously follow your path, instead of being swept along by everything that is happening around you. Think of someone you admire who remains calm even in stressful situations. Perhaps it's a person at school who keeps their composure even in difficult moments, or a friend who listens carefully before responding. These people don't need to show their strength with words. Their behavior speaks for itself. They remain firm and calm no matter what happens, and their quiet certainty attracts others. What sets them apart isn't luck or special talents. It's how they manage their lives. They choose self-control over distraction, patience over rash action, and growth over comfort. Take a moment to consider how often your attention is pulled back and forth between many things: an annoying email, an argument, a nasty comment from someone whose opinion doesn't really matter. Each of these moments cost you a bit of your calm and focus. Now imagine reclaiming that energy and using it to create something valuable for yourself. When you stop reacting to every little thing instantly, you can focus only on what really matters. This simple shift can change your entire life. There's a story that shows what such a change can look like. A man named Daniel was stuck in a vicious cycle of frustration. His life wasn't bad, but it wasn't particularly fulfilling either. He worked hard, but the stress at work and his boss's constant nagging were dragging him down. His friendships were okay, but they lacked depth. He often found himself getting upset about little things that weren't really important and replaying conversations in his head long after they were over. He felt trapped, as if life was just happening instead of being in his control. One day, after a stressful meeting in which his boss told him he didn't handle stress well, Daniel realized something had to change. He no longer wanted to feel like he was in control. That evening he read a simple yet powerful sentence: "You can't control what happens to you, but you can choose how you react." These words stuck in his mind, and for the first time, he realized how much energy he had wasted on things he couldn't change. He decided to do things differently. Instead of responding immediately, he paused and took a deep breath. When something bothered him, he asked himself if it was really worth his attention. He began listening more and speaking less. This allowed him to notice things he had previously missed: patterns in conversations, secret messages in meetings, and opportunities to improve. He also found moments of calm, which he used not to run away, but to reflect and refocus on what was truly important to him. Little by little, these small steps led to something really big. At work, Daniel became a vital support in difficult moments. His colleagues sought his advice, and even his boss noticed how calm and collected he remained. At home, he stopped constantly seeking approval from others and began to trust himself. His friendships grew stronger because he learned to listen attentively without judging quickly, and to speak with courage instead of fear. What once seemed like a standstill now felt like a valuable journey forward. The biggest change in Daniel's life wasn't just what was happening around him, but what was growing deep within himself. He understood that true strength doesn't mean controlling everything, but mastering himself. By letting go of the need to constantly prove himself or win every argument, he developed an inner confidence that couldn't be shaken. He stopped seeking approval from others and found joy in growing a little bit every day. This isn't just Daniel's story, but something many people can identify with. Life often presents us with challenges, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But what distinguishes those who move forward isn't their situation, but their attitude, the ability to focus, let go of what doesn't serve them well, and act consciously is something everyone can learn. True change doesn't happen through big, sudden upheavals. It comes from small, repeated decisions that align with the person you want to be. Choosing to stay silent instead of arguing, waiting a moment before reacting, keeping your dreams to yourself instead of sharing them out loud, these simple steps over time bring clarity, strength, and perseverance. They lead to something great. Imagine how much more peace and clarity you would gain if you stopped basing your decisions on the opinions of others. Think of the strength you would gain if you learned to pause before reacting and save your energy for what's important. These aren't just thoughts. They're decisions that can change your life in ways you may not even be able to imagine right now. As you reflect, ask yourself, where is your energy going? Are you using it to give your best, or are you wasting it on things that don't matter? The answer to this question can show you what your next step should be. The path back to your inner strength begins with a clear decision. Growth is more important than ease, attention is more important than confusion, and courage is more important than doubt. It's not about being perfect, but about constantly improving, standing up for yourself every day and making decisions that show who you really want to be. Each small step builds on the last, and suddenly you feel yourself becoming stronger, calmer, and more confident than you ever imagined. The world is full of distractions, but you don't have to let yourself be carried away by them. When you learn to control yourself, you rise above the noise and find a strength within that many never discover. It's not about being better than others. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. When you can do that, everything else falls into place. True change often happens quietly. On the path to greater self-control, one special skill helps everyone else: silence. It takes effort to concentrate and become inner strong, but in calm, clarity, confidence, and perseverance grow. It's not just what we do that counts, but also what we don't say. Words that we often say quickly and unnecessarily drain our energy, while silence gathers it. When you learn to value silence, your awareness becomes sharper, your friendships stronger, and you feel more secure inside. Let's take a closer look at how this quiet power can transform your entire life. Above all, silence changes how you interact with the world around you. It helps you truly see. Many people always want to react, to express their opinion, to fill empty moments with words, but those who remain silent have an advantage. They notice things others overlook. It's not about being passive, but about being fully present. When you remain silent, you pay attention to the words, the tone, the gestures, and the meaning behind what is being said. This is how you discover things that loud voices miss. Choosing silence doesn't mean giving up your voice, but rather using it wisely. A well-thought-out response outweighs many unnecessary words. That's why quiet strength is so valuable, especially at work. Discussions often become competitions to see who speaks the most, but the person who speaks the least or last is often seen as the one who thinks the most and is in control of the situation. Leaders who remain silent deserve respect, not because they say nothing, but because they choose their words carefully. In close friendships and families, silence builds trust. Truly listening without interrupting shows that you are truly paying attention and respect the other person. People feel understood when they are given the space to express themselves without fear of judgment or competition for attention. Silence becomes a gift that allows others to open deeply. This makes relationships stronger than superficial conversations. In a world where being heard is often more important than listening, this ability makes you someone who truly understands what it means to have good relationships. Aside from how silence influences your conversations, it also strengthens your inner self. It gives you the space to sort through feelings, reflect on experiences, and understand which path you want to take. Without quiet moments, your inner knowing is drowned out by the noise of everyday life. But in the stillness, new insights arise. You begin to sense what really matters, not just what immediately seems important. Silence not only gives you answers, but helps you find the right questions to ask yourself. This clarity makes you more resilient. Problems and criticism lose their power when you approach them with calm attention. When you take the time before reacting, you give yourself the chance to reflect, breathe deeply, and act consciously instead of impulsively. This habit preserves your inner peace and ensures that your actions align with what is dear to you. Over time, this becomes second nature and protects you from unnecessary stress and emotional chaos. Silence also awakens your creativity. When you take moments to reflect quietly, your mind is free to develop new ideas. Many of the most important inventions and discoveries came about precisely when people were alone and quiet, not in loud conversations. Silence creates space for inspiration and helps you connect thoughts that would otherwise remain scattered. It turns quiet into a source of new ideas and progress, showing that some of the best things happen precisely when it's quiet. Essentially, silence is a form of self-respect. It shows that you don't always need to explain yourself or seek validation. This quiet security is particularly powerful. People are attracted to those who are at peace with themselves and don't need to be loud to appear important. Silence reflects true self-confidence, a confidence that comes from knowing yourself well and what's important to you. But perhaps the most important thing about silence is that it helps uncover the truth. When you remain silent, others often say more than they intended. Silence creates a void that people want to fill and prompts them to reveal things they might otherwise have kept secret. This is especially valuable in difficult situations where it's important to understand the whole picture. Practicing silence takes time and patience. It's often tempting to simply talk to fill the silence or to mistake it for doing nothing. But people who understand the value of silence know its true power. They recognize that what isn't spoken sometimes expresses more than words. They see silence not as something empty, but as a space in which meaning can grow. When it comes to the powerful habits that lead to self-mastery, silence is a critical foundation. It sharpens focus, deepens friendships, and builds inner strength, setting you up for even more growth. Silence provides a secure foundation, but it's the time spent alone that makes that foundation even more solid. While silence helps you observe and listen attentively, solitude gives you the chance to turn inward, to reflect, understand, and align your life with what truly matters to you. This isn't about isolating yourself from the world. It's about taking a step back to notice your own thoughts amidst all of life's distractions. Solitude holds a special power that can't be found in a group. In such quiet moments, true clarity arises. Worries, judgments, and external pressures that often clutter the mind dissolve and make room for a deeper awareness. You begin to realize what's truly important to you, what your values are, and what your goals are. When you're constantly surrounded by people or too focused on others' expectations, it's easy to lose touch with yourself and what you truly want. Time alone helps you rediscover that connection and return to your own truth. The world often praises constant activity, but true growth happens in quiet moments. Solitude gives you the opportunity to pause, reflect, and understand where you are and where you want to go. In this silence, you can examine whether your decisions truly align with your intentions. Many people rush through life without asking themselves whether they're on the right path. Solitude calms you and helps you reorient yourself so that you can devote your time and energy to what really matters. By repeatedly allowing yourself moments of silence, you create the best conditions for personal growth. This isn't just about thinking, it's also about learning to be content with yourself without outside distractions. At first, this may feel strange, especially in a world that constantly wants you to be busy. But the more you get used to solitude, the more thoughts and ideas you'll discover that would otherwise be lost in the noise. You'll have a better understanding of what you're capable of, where your challenges lie, and what truly drives you. This knowledge of yourself is the foundation for true inner strength. Spending time alone also helps you face challenges with greater courage. Life presents us with many difficulties, and when you learn to overcome them on your own, a sense of independence grows within you that nothing else can achieve. If you rely too heavily on others for praise or support, it becomes difficult to tackle problems without help. In solitude, you learn to trust your own judgment and to find your answers within yourself instead of constantly looking outside for them. This independence not only makes you stronger on the inside, but also takes away your fear of being alone. Another great benefit of solitude is that it boosts your creativity. Many of the best ideas in history have been conceived in quiet, peaceful moments. Without the constant interruptions of everyday life, your mind can wander freely, making new connections and discovering possibilities that are barely visible in the hustle and bustle. Time spent alone not only gives you space to reflect, it also allows you to dream. Being alone also improves your feelings and well-being. Solitude allows you to feel your emotions in peace without fear of what others might think. You can confront feelings that often feel complicated around other people. This inner clarity helps you move on with a lighter heart and a clearer mind. Instead of holding on to old feelings, you learn to let them go, making space for peace, joy, and self-expression. Time alone can even strengthen your friendships and relationships. When you know yourself better, you can also connect more deeply with others. You'll be more attentive in conversations because your mind isn't distracted by unresolved feelings or worries. People are drawn to those who exude calm and security, qualities that thrive in times of solitude. The stronger your connection to yourself, the more fulfilling your relationships with others will be. Many people think that loneliness and being alone are the same thing, but that's not entirely true. Loneliness often feels sad and abandoned, whereas being alone is a conscious decision to spend time with yourself. Being alone isn't about running away from others, but rather about hearing your own thoughts clearly. It's a way to take good care of yourself and recharge before going out into the world again. When you find the right balance between time for yourself and shared moments, your life will feel fuller and more meaningful. In our fast-paced world, having time to yourself can sometimes seem like a luxury, but it's actually a vital necessity. Even brief moments of conscious solitude can make a big difference. Don't use this time to run away from something, but rather to give space to your thoughts, ideas, and questions that often go unnoticed. Journaling, meditating, or simply sitting quietly are all good ways to reconnect with yourself. These quiet moments will help you refocus and make sure your choices align with what's truly important to you. Solitude also helps you make better decisions. When you're constantly surrounded by the opinions of others, it's hard to hear your own thoughts clearly. Being alone gives you the chance to reflect in peace and make decisions that truly align with your values, without external pressure. Decisions made in silence feel safer and are often more closely aligned with your long-term goals because they stem from honesty and self-awareness. Another gift of solitude is the ability to appreciate the simple things in life. Without distractions, you notice the beauty of small moments, a sunrise, the gentle breeze, or the rhythm of your breath. This awareness creates a sense of gratitude and contentment that transforms your perspective on life. Being alone shows you that happiness doesn't come from always being busy or successful, but from living in the here and now. Over time, solitude becomes a constant source of inner strength. It's not just about the times you spend alone, but about the clarity and meaning you bring from it into your daily life. You react less impulsively, are more thoughtful, and more connected to your authentic self. This quiet trust influences how you interact with the world and how it responds to you. In solitude, you find strength, develop your creativity, and become clear about your goals. It's not about escaping life, but about preparing yourself to be fully present with it. When you learn to love solitude, you build a strong foundation for overcoming challenges, cultivating deeper friendships, and living a life that's right for you. Take this strength with you as we discover how to protect your dreams to create an unwavering focus. Solitude sharpens your vision and shows you what's truly important to you. But clarity alone isn't enough. Once you know your goals and dreams, you must also protect them. In a world full of distractions, opinions, and advice, your dreams can easily be shattered or lost if you don't protect them. The inner strength you developed in silence will be your shield, allowing you to move forward with courage and confidence. It takes a lot of courage and strength to keep your goals to yourself. As soon as you tell others about your plans, you open yourself up to other people's opinions. Sometimes tips can be useful, but often they also bring doubt into your heart. Even well-intentioned advice can unconsciously lead you astray. If you keep your dreams to yourself, you can let them grow in peace without others shaking them up. That doesn't mean you don't need friends or involve anyone. It just means you should think carefully about who you share your dreams with. This way you conserve your energy. If you talk about them all the time, you might feel like you have to explain or justify everything. That takes energy that you could better use to make real progress. When you keep quiet about your dreams, you're not just keeping secrets for the sake of keeping secrets. You're saving your energy for what really matters. Those who announce their goals sometimes fool themselves into believing they've already achieved something. This false sense saps motivation and makes it difficult to stick with it. If you keep your plans to yourself, your willpower remains strong. The joy you'll feel when you achieve your goal will be much greater because you've truly achieved it, not just because others know it. When your dreams are yours alone, you're better able to handle difficulties. When your plans are public, obstacles often seem much bigger than they really are. The pressure to meet others' expectations can add to your stress and make it difficult to get back up. When your goals remain private, problems become valuable learning experiences rather than a burden for everyone to see. This makes you more resilient and better able to adapt without fear of others' opinions. Another benefit of keeping your plans private is that you won't needlessly compare yourself to others. Sharing your dreams can lead to you comparing yourself to others on similar paths. It can make you sad when someone else is making faster progress, even if their path is completely different from yours. Keeping your goals private allows you to focus on and celebrate your own progress without comparing yourself to others. Your path is unique, and maintaining your privacy will help you stay true to it. Thoughtfully sharing what's important to you doesn't mean going it alone. It means choosing your support team carefully. Only share your goals with people who truly believe in you, who understand where you're headed, and who respect your path. The right friends will give you encouragement and helpful advice without shaking your confidence. This way, you can get support while still protecting your dreams. Keeping your plans secret also builds discipline. Resisting the urge to always talk about them requires self-control and strengthens your focus. When you don't seek approval from others, you learn to rely on your own motivation. This makes your goals more personal and meaningful. You don't pursue them to impress others, but because they're truly important to you. Privacy also gives your dreams the space to change and grow naturally. If you share your plans too early, you may become stuck in one direction, even if new insights or changes reveal a better path. When your goals are yours alone, you can adjust them freely. This flexibility helps ensure your dreams always align with you and your values. There's also a psychological benefit to sharing successes only after you've actually achieved them. Then they have a much stronger impact. This way, you avoid the distractions that arise when you get attention too early. Instead of talking a lot, you focus your energy on actually achieving your goals. When you protect your plans, your responsibility also grows. Your dreams then belong to you alone, and you are accountable only to yourself. This freedom makes you stronger and allows you to work toward your goals with even greater determination. You don't do it for recognition, but because your dreams are truly important to you. This kind of motivation lasts longer than validation from others, which is often uncertain and fleeting. Protecting your dreams also shows that you're focusing on what you can control. You can't know how others will react to your goals, but you can control how you pursue them. Keeping your plans private allows you to take sole responsibility for them and ensure they align with your values, not outside opinions. Keeping your plans to yourself doesn't mean you can't accept advice. It means you decide when and from whom you want to hear it. Tips from the right people are very valuable, but they help most when you consciously seek them out rather than just being handed out. This way, you can be sure that the advice truly fits your vision and comes from people who understand you and want to help you. If you keep your goals to yourself, you'll enjoy the journey much more. If you share your plans too early, the pressure to succeed can diminish the joy. Your privacy helps you focus on the here and now and experience each step consciously. When you enjoy what you're doing, not only will the experience be more enjoyable, but it will also increase your chances of achieving your goals. By protecting your dreams, you strengthen your independence. You remind yourself that your goals belong to you and don't have to be determined by others. This freedom gives you the courage to take big steps, think big, and pursue your dreams with confidence. This is a quiet strength that others feel, and that encourages them to boldly pursue their own dreams. Remember how important it is to protect your dreams. It's not about hiding them, but about handling them consciously and thoughtfully. This gives your plans space to grow and strengthen without being burdened by unnecessary external pressure or distractions. Take this insight with you as we take the next step. Let your actions demonstrate your success. When you protect your dreams, you have the peace and focus to work on them. But when they start to come true, how you handle your success matters. How you act influences how others see you, but also how you stay on track. Letting your actions speak louder than your words is not only wise but also the best way to make progress, maintain balance, and cultivate good relationships. True success doesn't require a big show. It doesn't need to be talked about loudly or constantly admired. Success is reflected in what you do, in the results you achieve, and in the positive impact you have on others. When success is only used to gain recognition or impress others, it loses its true meaning. That's why humility is so important. When you let your achievements speak for themselves, you remain calm within yourself and build a strong foundation for a fulfilling life. Being humble also means understanding that your success doesn't come from you alone. Hard work is important, but so are timing, the help of others, and sometimes things out of your control. Knowing this helps you stay grounded and appreciate the people and opportunities that support you. Gratitude turns success into something you can share with others, rather than flaunting. It strengthens your friendships and gives your life more meaning. When your actions speak for themselves, the focus shifts from you to what you achieve. Instead of seeking praise, you become a role model. People admire those who achieve great things without always talking about them. This quiet power builds trust, which lasts far longer than applause. Words may be forgotten, but what you do remains. When your work speaks for itself, you also find inner peace. Worrying too much about pleasing others puts unnecessary pressure on you. The constant need to demonstrate your worth can be exhausting and take away the joy of your successes. When you focus on doing rather than on recognition, you free yourself from this burden. Contentment comes from the steps you take and the effort you make, not from the praise you receive from others. This gives you a profound sense of happiness that no one can take away. When success speaks for itself, trust in your relationships also grows. People like honesty and find respect in those who don't brag or pretend. Sincerity is your greatest strength. It shows that you believe in yourself without bragging, and that you value real achievement over appearances. This trust creates opportunities that align with you and your values, allowing your influence to grow in a positive way. Humility also helps you keep learning and improving. When you don't constantly have to prove what you can do, you remain open to new things. Success then becomes a step forward, not a goal you stop at. It awakens your curiosity, encourages you to try new things, and ensures that you continue to grow. Those who cling to past successes often stagnate. Those who remain humble move forward. When you focus on actions rather than words, you also avoid the trap of comparison. Success that only seeks recognition is often measured against others, leading to a never-ending competition. But success with humility is measured against your own values. This allows you to be proud of yourself without having to outdo others. This gives you peace of mind that isn't shattered by external expectations. It also demonstrates self-respect when you measure your success by your work. This means you don't need external recognition to feel valuable. This quiet confidence is powerful for you and those around you. It motivates others to focus on their own growth rather than just seeking attention. This spreads humility and creates an environment where honesty and solidarity thrive. Another benefit of modest success is the strength it gives you to deal with difficulties. When your self-worth isn't dependent on what others say, you're better able to overcome setbacks. Mistakes become opportunities that allow you to grow, rather than diminishing yourself. This way, you stay balanced, whether you're succeeding or struggling. You learn to appreciate the journey itself, not just the destination. Success combined with humility strengthens connections with others. Most people like people who achieve something but remain friendly and open. When you demonstrate your success through your actions, it creates space for genuine friendships. Others feel comfortable around you because your success doesn't make them feel smaller. Instead, it empowers and lifts them up, leading to mutual respect and recognition. This is how you become a good leader. True leadership isn't about loudly shouting for attention or demanding respect, but rather earning it through honest actions and trust. People who lead humbly demonstrate what's possible with their actions rather than just saying what should be done. They set examples and set high goals that others want to follow. This builds team cohesion, and everyone achieves more together. Letting your work speak for itself doesn't mean downplaying your achievements. It means they're noticed without fuss. When you focus on what you do and the difference you're making, everyone recognizes your success. This quiet confidence is far more powerful than any bragging. It commands respect because it's based on genuine effort and honesty. Modest success also means focusing on what you can control. You can't control how others view your achievements, but you can determine how much effort you put into them and why you do it. When you value your work more than praise, your success will be more aligned with your values than with the desires of others. This will make you content and give meaning to your actions. The power of letting your actions speak for themselves is simple. You don't need grand declarations or grand gestures. It's enough to give your best every day and let the results speak for themselves. This way, your self-esteem remains strong because you're not constantly seeking recognition. You live by your own rules, and that's enough. Along the way, keep in mind that true success is rooted in humility. Show through your behavior how committed you are, how strong you are, and how important your principles are to you. This quiet strength sets you apart and leaves an impression that speaks louder than any words. Keep this wisdom in mind as we consider the next important topic, the art of listening. True success is evident in your actions and attracts people without you having to advertise yourself. But if others are to be attracted to you, you must learn to listen properly. And that means not just hearing words, but truly paying attention. Paying attention when someone is speaking is a skill that many underestimate, but one that can transform relationships. It helps you understand better and make a lasting impression without having to be particularly charming or powerful. Real listening isn't just about waiting until you can speak yourself. It's about being fully present and paying attention to what someone is saying, feeling, and meaning. People want to feel heard, and when you provide that, you're fulfilling an important human need. This simple act makes relationships stronger, helps with arguments, and shows you opportunities that would otherwise go unnoticed. When you listen attentively, you show respect. In a world full of distractions, giving someone your full attention is special. It shows the other person that they're important, that their thoughts matter, and that you value their time. This sense of respect builds trust, which is the foundation for strong friendships and collaborations. Trust allows people to be open and honest, which deepens your connection. Listening carefully also helps you truly understand people. Words don't say everything. How someone speaks, their pauses, their voice and gestures often reveal more. If you listen very carefully, you'll notice these small signs and understand what they really mean. This way, you can respond kindly and appropriately and get along better with others, whether in private or at work. Being a good listener also helps in arguments. Many problems arise because someone feels misunderstood. By actively listening, you can find the real causes, respond intelligently, and avoid unnecessary anger. This shows that you are fair and helpful. This makes a big difference in the workplace. Many people think leadership means a lot of talking, but good bosses know that listening is even more important. When you pay attention to other people's concerns and ideas, they feel valued and are more motivated. This type of leadership strengthens the team and boosts creativity because people give their best when they know they're truly being heard. Listening carefully also helps solve problems better. When you fully understand everything, you find better answers. Active listening encourages you to think more slowly and take everything in carefully instead of making snap judgments. This allows you to make smart decisions that truly help. One of the best things about listening is that it changes your way of thinking. When you seek to understand before responding, you become less defensive and more thoughtful. This brings calm and patience into your life. You approach conversations with curiosity rather than defensiveness, which leads to better conversations and closer connections. Attentive listening also helps you get to know yourself better. When you truly listen to others, you'll notice how you're speaking in conversation. You'll recognize when you're interrupting, when your mind wanders, or when your responses are more driven by pride than understanding. By noticing these things, you can change the way you speak and communicate more intelligently and kindly. The true power of listening is that it brings people closer together. It promotes understanding, even when conversations are difficult, and helps connect people with differing opinions. When you listen with an open heart and a clear mind, you can learn to see the world from others' perspectives and thus expand your own thinking. This ability to create deeper connections improves your relationships and also helps you grow as a person. Another great benefit of listening is how it influences you. People trust those who truly listen to them. When you show that you understand others' concerns, desires, and hopes, they gain your trust. This isn't about controlling someone, but about building trust and working well together. Active listening also teaches you patience. In our fast-paced world, you need time to truly listen by slowing down and being fully present. This habit not only improves conversations, but also helps you remain calm and collected in difficult situations. Over time, patience becomes a natural consequence of attentive listening and makes it easier for you to overcome challenges. Deep listening also supports your personal growth. Every conversation is an opportunity to learn something, not only about others, but also about yourself and the world. When you approach conversations with a desire to understand rather than just be right, you open yourself up to new ideas and perspectives. This attitude of learning enriches your life and helps you embrace change more easily. Being an attentive listener also strengthens your emotions and empathy. When you sense what someone feels behind their words, you get a better sense of their mood. This knowledge allows you to respond more kindly and understandingly, which builds trust and security in your relationships. Understanding emotions well is important for having close friendships, and good listening helps you learn to do this. Listening carefully not only improves how you interact with others, but also how you understand yourself. The more attentive you are, the more likely you are to discover patterns in your thinking and speech. This self-observation helps you develop and better express what you feel and think. Listening also fosters honesty. When people feel truly heard, they are more likely to be open and honest. This openness leads to deep and meaningful friendships built on trust. It reminds us that important conversations aren't about finding the perfect words, but about creating a space where genuine connections can develop. When you listen carefully, you also change your perspective on life. Listening is more than a skill. It's an attitude and a decision to fully engage with others. This attentiveness strengthens friendships, promotes understanding, and helps you grow personally. It brings positivity to all areas of your life. When we cultivate this habit, it reminds us how important it is to be truly present. Listening isn't just about hearing words, it's a way to connect and understand better. Next, we'll learn how to avoid distractions like gossip and negative thoughts so we can use our energy to make important progress. Attentive listening brings trust, kindness, and self-awareness. It not only changes how you interact with others, but also how you grow as a person. A good listener improves their relationships, but avoiding gossip protects your honesty and focus. Gossip may seem like harmless talk, but it can destroy trust, damage friendships, and distract you from your own goals. Consciously choosing not to gossip is a powerful sign of self-discipline and self-confidence. Gossip is often based on assumptions, judgments, and negative thoughts. When you participate, you shift your attention from your own goals to the stories of others. This habit can give you a false sense of importance by making you feel better about yourself briefly by putting others down, but it doesn't add anything valuable to your life or character. Choosing not to gossip allows you to use your energy for things that truly help you grow. Consciously choosing not to participate in gossip is a powerful sign of self-control and courage. Gossip is often based on assumptions, judgments, and the spread of negative thoughts. When you engage in it, you shift your attention from your own goals to talking about others. This behavior can give you a false sense of importance because putting others down makes you feel better. But in the end, it doesn't help you grow as a person or build character. Choosing not to gossip allows you to use your energy for things that truly advance you. The idea of focusing on what you can control is an important thought from Stoic philosophy. You can't control what others do, but you can choose how you react to it. You can't influence gossip, and participating in it wastes time that could be much better spent on yourself. By refusing to participate, you stay true to yourself and strengthen your ability to be mindful and disciplined. Avoiding gossip also helps your friendships grow. People are attracted to those they can trust. By refusing to gossip, you show that you are reliable. Others feel safe and respected because they know you won't speak badly about them when they're not around. This creates honest and strong friendships because people appreciate your fairness and kindness. Staying away from gossip also brings great relief. It frees you from all the negativity and judgment that often accompany such conversations. Gossip causes you to constantly compare and criticize, which can weigh on your mind and drain your emotions. By staying away from it, you protect your heart and mind and make room for positive thoughts and personal growth. When you avoid gossip, you also learn to develop more compassion. Instead of quickly judging others, you look at them with curiosity and understanding. You realize that everyone has their own challenges and deserves kindness, not criticism. This attitude improves your relationships and helps you become more aware of your own thoughts and behaviors. Another important benefit of avoiding gossip is that you can more clearly pursue your own goals. Gossip often distracts you from your path and causes you to focus on things that don't really help you. By staying out of the conversation, you stay focused on what's truly important to you. This allows you to focus your energy on what really matters and better achieve your goals. Staying away from gossip also means taking responsibility for yourself. Instead of focusing on what others are doing wrong, you become more aware of your own decisions. This helps you develop and take responsibility for your actions. You learn to see difficulties as opportunities instead of criticizing others. This mindset makes you stronger and more resilient. Avoiding gossip is also an exercise in humility. Often, gossip arises from a desire to feel superior by criticizing others. True humility recognizes that everyone makes mistakes and deserves understanding. When you choose not to gossip, you practice this very humility. You know that judging others is pointless. With this attitude, you become more patient and kinder. This improves your friendships and helps you live honestly and openly. Avoiding gossip also sets clear boundaries. This shows that you prefer to talk about important topics and don't want to waste your time on negative conversations. These boundaries protect your emotions and your mind and allow you to focus on the important things. Over time, others will also notice how you speak and learn to conduct conversations in a more respectful and positive way. When you don't gossip, you can concentrate better. Without distractions, you have more time and energy to work on yourself. This concentration moves you forward because every step forward strengthens your desire to live consciously. Choosing not to gossip reminds you that every minute you spend doing it is a minute you're taking away from your dream life. When you improve the quality of your conversations by avoiding gossip, your relationships become deeper. Conversations that revolve around ideas, values, and shared experiences become sources of inspiration and learning. This change makes interacting with others more enjoyable and valuable for you and everyone around you. Last but not least, the decision not to gossip demonstrates how important silence can be. Not every thought needs to be expressed. When you learn to hold back before speaking, your voice becomes stronger, and your words better align with what you truly believe. This ensures good conversations and helps you stay honest. Making sure you don't engage in gossip will also improve your reputation with others. People admire those who are honest and supportive. When you refrain from gossip, people get the impression that you're someone who builds others up rather than tears them down. This not only strengthens your friendships, but also opens doors to opportunities that align with your values and goals. Your self-esteem also grows when you don't gossip. Every time you choose not to participate in negative conversations, you show yourself that honesty and your own growth are important to you. This decision makes you more confident because you realize how your behavior affects your life and the lives of others. Over time, this self-respect becomes an important part of your journey and helps you live a life full of meaning and honesty. This habit is also good for your feelings. Gossip invites judgment and comparison, which can weigh on your mind. When you distance yourself from such conversations, you become calmer, can think more clearly, and focus on words and moments that motivate and empower you. This makes you feel lighter and makes room for joy and personal growth. To distance yourself from gossip is to choose a life of purpose. It means you value growth, genuine friendships, and honesty over fleeting feelings of distraction or superiority. This intentional attitude influences all areas of your life and is evident in your decisions and interactions with others. It reminds you that words and thoughts have great power and that you can use them carefully for good. When you choose not to gossip, you protect your mind and conserve your energy. This leaves more room to grow and build genuine relationships. But even when you're working on yourself, life can still throw unexpected difficulties at you that disrupt your plans. How you respond to these situations reveals your inner strength. Radical acceptance, that is, accepting the things you can't change, helps you transform challenges into sources of strength. This isn't about giving up, but rather about seeing things clearly. When you accept reality as it is, you stop wasting energy fighting what you can't change and instead focus on what you can do. Life always throws surprises, small and large, but all of them can disrupt your peace. If you fight them, you lose energy because you wish things were different, wonder why they happened, or blame others. This struggle only makes you more stressed and makes the problems last longer. Radical acceptance helps you accept reality without unnecessary criticism. It means seeing things as they really are, not as you would like them to be. This new perspective gives you back the energy you lost while resisting. Accepting reality doesn't mean that you think everything is fine or that it's fair. It means that you understand that there are some things you can't control. This feels liberating. When you stop fighting against the unchangeable, you can focus on solutions and move forward. Instead of feeling stuck, you discover new possibilities even if they seem small. Acceptance doesn't make problems go away, but it changes how you experience them and helps you move from helplessness to inner strength. Radical acceptance builds emotional strength because it creates balance. When you accept a situation, you let go of overwhelming feelings like anger, frustration, or hopelessness. This doesn't mean ignoring your feelings. It means recognizing them without letting them determine your actions. Acceptance creates distance between your feelings and your decisions, helping you face challenges with a calm and clear mind. This balance becomes your steady anchor when things get difficult. This attitude also helps you get to know yourself better. Acceptance means confronting even unpleasant truths about your situation and your thinking. It challenges you to question your beliefs, expectations, and habits, and understand how they influence your reactions. This way, you grow by letting go of old patterns that don't serve you and adopting a mindset that is based more on action than resistance. Acceptance isn't always easy, but it changes your life. It teaches you important lessons that make you stronger and broaden your perspective on the world. Radical acceptance also helps you distinguish what you can change and what you can't. Many people waste their energy trying to influence things they can't control. This only leads to frustration and exhaustion. When you focus on what's truly within your control, you make better decisions and use your time more wisely. This makes you more effective and gives you a stronger sense of control because you remember that you can't change everything, but you can always determine how you react. Accepting what you can't change also helps you develop patience. Some difficulties simply need time to resolve, and radical acceptance gives you the strength to calmly accept these waiting periods. Instead of forcing things that don't get better immediately, you learn to live with the unknown and trust that you can adapt. Patience here doesn't mean giving up, but rather understanding that true growth often occurs between accepting reality and taking action. Another great benefit of radical acceptance is that it reduces fear and worry. Many fears arise from trying to control or predict the future. Acceptance brings you back to the moment that is truly here and helps you focus on the now rather than on what might happen. This feeling of being fully present calms your mind and makes you more empowered to make good decisions. When you're not constantly thinking about what-ifs, you can solve problems with a calm heart and clear mind. Acceptance also promotes kindness to yourself and others. When you accept your situation, you understand that life is often unpredictable, sometimes chaotic, and often beyond your control. This knowledge helps you treat yourself more lovingly and replace harsh self-criticism with compassion. It also allows you to better understand other people and recognize that everyone makes mistakes and experiences difficulties. Instead of judging, you look at them with more compassion, and this leads to stronger, deeper friendships. Radical acceptance not only changes how you react to problems, it also changes how you view them. Instead of seeing obstacles as blockages, you learn to embrace them as opportunities for growth. This perspective doesn't make difficulties any less difficult, but it shows you that they are part of your journey. Every challenge is an important lesson, and every setback is an opportunity to become stronger inside. Over time, this way of thinking transforms even the most difficult moments into steps that make you a stronger and wiser version of yourself. When you accept, you also become more flexible. When you stop clinging to rigid expectations, you're more open to new paths and solutions. This adaptability helps you deal with change more easily and turns problems into opportunities for creativity and new ideas. The ability to change is one of the most important skills you can learn, and it begins with accepting reality as it is. Acceptance also teaches humility. It reminds you that no matter how well you plan, there are some things you can't influence. This knowledge doesn't weaken you. It makes you stronger because you focus your power on what you can control rather than what you can't change. Humility helps you see the truth and act on what really matters. Radical acceptance also brings a profound calm. When you let go of the need to control everything, the stress that comes from trying to force things disappears. This calm isn't passivity, but rather the knowledge of your own power and the limits of your control. It gives you the serenity to deal with anything, no matter how difficult or uncertain. This path also reminds us of the Stoic idea of living in harmony with nature. Life is full of surprises, and fighting them only causes unnecessary pain. When you learn to accept the natural course of things, you work with the world rather than against it. This doesn't mean giving up, but rather finding strength in life's movements and gaining resilience from its unpredictability. Radical acceptance also improves your relationships. When you accept others as they are, rather than trying to change them, trust and genuine closeness develop. Acceptance shows that you value people as they are, not as you would like them to be. This trust makes friendships strong and helps overcome differences and arguments. This attitude also makes you more grateful for what you have. Acceptance shifts your focus from what's missing to what's there, giving you appreciation for the people, opportunities, and experiences that enrich your life. Gratitude makes you strong for difficult times because it reminds you of the support and resources available to you. Radical acceptance is a conscious decision to honestly and courageously accept reality. It doesn't mean giving up, but rather letting go of the fight against the unchangeable and using your strength where it's truly needed. This new perspective changes how you deal with difficulties, shapes your life, and helps you move forward with confidence, strength, and courage. Accepting reality as it is allows you to focus on what you can change and makes you more resilient to life's challenges. But acceptance alone isn't enough to manage strong emotions in difficult situations. True strength grows when you learn to set emotional boundaries. This means letting go of what doesn't help you, staying calm even when things get stressful, and remaining composed in difficult moments. Letting go isn't a weakness, but a powerful expression of self-control and inner strength. Letting go emotionally doesn't mean you stop having feelings or caring. It means creating distance between what you feel and how you react to them. Practicing this allows you to acknowledge your feelings without being controlled by them. This ability to step back helps you think clearly and prevents you from acting impulsively. Being detached acts like a protective shield, preventing you from being overwhelmed by your emotions and allowing you to remain calm and focused. One of the most important benefits of emotional detachment is that it frees you from the heavy burden of what others think of you. Criticism, whether helpful or mean, can often make you doubt yourself or make you angry. When you learn to detach emotionally, you separate your worth from other people's opinions. You realize that their words primarily reflect their own thoughts, not your true worth. This knowledge helps you openly accept feedback while remaining confident. Keeping distance from your feelings also helps you handle arguments better. Conflicts often worsen when emotions are too strong, making it difficult to think clearly or speak calmly. By remaining detached, you keep a cool head and look for solutions instead of someone to blame. This ability to remain calm not only helps resolve arguments more quickly, but also earns you respect, because people see you handle difficult conversations patiently and intelligently. Letting go also makes it easier to let go of the burden of old pain. Feelings like resentment, anger, or sadness can take up a lot of space in your mind and steal energy you actually need to heal and grow. Letting go doesn't mean ignoring these feelings, but rather understanding that holding on to them doesn't help you. When you let go of these feelings, you create space for clarity, peace, and progress, and you can better control your thoughts and energy. Another important aspect of emotional letting go is that it helps you deal with expectations. Many disappointments arise because we expect something to be a certain way, from ourselves, from others, or from life. Being detached means seeing things openly and not clinging rigidly to ideas. This doesn't mean you want less, but rather that you learn to adapt when things don't go the way you want. When you stop trying to control everything, there are fewer disappointments and you are more open to new, unexpected possibilities. Emotional letting go also makes you wiser in decision-making. Strong emotions can clutter your thoughts, and lead you to decisions that are based more on fear, anger, or desire than on reason and your values. When you practice letting go, you gain the clarity of mind you need to carefully consider your options and ensure your decisions align with your long-term goals. This way, you'll think more clearly and become more confident in handling even difficult situations. In friendships and relationships, emotional distance helps you deal with each other better. Holding on too tightly to expectations or trying to control everything often leads to stress and arguments. Detachment means treating others with respect and understanding rather than fear or excessive dependence. This strengthens trust and honesty because it shows that your relationships are based on appreciation and not pressure. Detachment also protects your energy from unnecessary stress. There are many situations in life that awaken emotions: traffic jams, appointments, misunderstandings. When you learn to let go, you can better distinguish what is really important and what isn't. This way, you save your energy for what is important to you, and small annoyances can't knock you down so quickly. Letting go also gives you inner peace. When you're not carrying the heavy burden of old feelings or the desire to control everything, you feel lighter and freer. This peace doesn't come from avoiding problems, but from facing them with a clear and peaceful mind. Being detached doesn't mean running away from difficulties, but rather facing them in a way that maintains your inner balance. Another great benefit of emotional detachment is your inner strength. Life always brings challenges, but when you're detached, you can face them more calmly and courageously. When your emotions don't flare up with every event, you're better able to adapt and move on. This strength grows naturally when you no longer allow yourself to be swept away by the strong emotions of difficult times. Detachment also helps you understand yourself better. When you distance yourself from your feelings, you can better understand why they exist and what triggers them. This awareness helps you recognize patterns in your thinking and behavior and gives you the strength to make decisions that help you grow. Knowing yourself is the first step to positive change, and letting go creates the space for that. Being emotionally detached also improves your ability to be in the here and now. When you let go of old anger and stop worrying about the future, you can fully experience the moment. This awareness makes your life more valuable and helps you enjoy good times and better cope with difficult ones. Letting go doesn't mean turning away from life. It means being more present in life by letting go of unnecessary baggage. Aside from how you develop yourself, emotional detachment also affects how others see and react to you. People are often attracted to those who remain calm and poised, even in difficult moments, because they feel trust and security as a result. When you have good control over your emotions, you appear reliable and become someone who brings calm to others during difficult times. Being detached also makes you kinder. When you are not trapped by your own feelings, you can better understand how others are going and help them. This compassion arises because you see things more clearly. Detachment helps you see different perspectives without feeling overwhelmed. When you let go of your own worries, you find it easier to support others who are carrying their own burdens. Practicing emotional detachment requires patience and self-awareness. It doesn't mean pushing away or hiding your feelings, but rather recognizing them without letting them overwhelm you. This practice starts with small steps, such as taking a moment before reacting, considering what triggers your strong feelings, and reminding yourself what really matters. Over time, this creates habits that improve your entire life. Patience ensures that you make your decisions carefully and based on wise consideration. It helps you avoid acting immediately, but rather take time to consider possible consequences, understand why you feel the way you do, and prepare for challenges. This reflection doesn't slow you down. Rather, it makes your actions stronger and more confident, so that your decisions are truly meaningful and impactful. Patience doesn't just mean waiting. It also means controlling yourself. It requires discipline to pause, reflect, and resist the temptation to do everything right away. Being patient means valuing long-term benefits over quick fixes. This attitude protects you from making decisions that feel good in the moment but could cause problems later. Patience also strengthens your self-control, which is an important part of Stoic teachings. It reminds you that true power comes from directing your desires rather than being controlled by them. One of the greatest benefits of patience is the ability to wait for a reward. In life, there's often the temptation to choose the easiest or quickest option rather than hoping for something better. Patience helps you recognize that these temptations are just distractions. When you resist, you build perseverance to stick to your path, even when it's sometimes difficult or uncertain. This isn't about avoiding joy, but about making sure your happiness aligns with your values and long-term goals. Patience also helps you see things more clearly. When you're not rushing, you often notice things that others miss. This allows you to make better decisions because you have time to gather more information, consider different options, and assess the consequences. Patience transforms simple observations into important insights and helps you better understand situations. This clarity is a huge advantage when making decisions. In relationships, patience builds stronger connections because it fosters understanding and kindness. Quick reactions often exacerbate arguments, while patience allows you to think before responding. This helps you resolve conflicts better and demonstrates that peace and respect are important to you. Patience is a calm way to show that you value and handle your friendships and relationships with care. Patience also helps conserve energy. Acting quickly and rashly often leads to mistakes that cost time and energy to correct. When you're patient, you make fewer mistakes and can save your energy for what matters most. This smart way of working influences how you achieve your goals and complete tasks. Patience ensures that you focus on the truly important things and allocate your efforts wisely. Another great benefit of patience is that it reduces stress. Acting quickly often stems from fear of missing out or losing something bad. Patience challenges this feeling and reminds you that the best decisions often come from calm consideration and waiting for the right moment. This attitude helps you approach decisions calmly and confidently. Your stress will decrease when you trust yourself to take your time and think more clearly. Patience also helps you learn from what you experience. When you take the time to consider things carefully, you can look back and see what went well and what didn't. Mistakes become important lessons, and successes become ways to do better next time. This way you gradually become wiser. However, if you act too quickly, you often miss this crucial step and end up making the same mistakes again and again. Patience ensures that every decision is an opportunity to grow and improve. In the workplace, patience is an important trait of good leaders. Those who act too quickly often lose people's trust, but those who remain patient gain respect and trust. Patient leaders listen carefully, consider their options, and explain their decisions clearly. This not only makes them more successful, but also creates an atmosphere where reflection and collaboration are valued. Patience is also key to staying strong in difficult times. Life brings many challenges, and impatience can lead to exhaustion because you only want quick wins rather than long-term perseverance. Patience helps you maintain your pace, conserve your energy, and stay motivated over time. Patience breeds resilience, the ability to remain strong even in difficult times. This isn't about avoiding problems, but rather tackling them calmly and steadily. Practicing patience also teaches you humility. It shows you that wisdom grows with time, that not everything has an immediate answer, and that there are things you can't influence. This humility opens you up to learning from others and changing your plans when necessary. Patience connects your desires with reality and allows you to gracefully move between the two. Patience also changes how you deal with setbacks. Making decisions too quickly can make mistakes worse, but with patience, you can step back, reflect, and act in ways that make problems less serious. This attitude helps you look not just at what went wrong, but at what you can learn from it. Patience also fits with an important Stoic idea, focusing on what you can influence. You can't change everything around you, but patience helps you decide how you want to react. It lets you make decisions that align with your values, rather than simply acting impulsively. This control gives you confidence because you know your decisions are thoughtful and conscious. Patience also fosters creativity. When you're not rushing, you have time for new ideas and solutions. Patience helps you think differently and see challenges as opportunities. This way, you discover possibilities that you might miss if you acted too quickly. At its core, patience is a form of self-respect. It shows that your goals, values, and well-being are important to you and deserve your attention and consideration. When you choose patience over haste, you demonstrate that you are intentional about living your life. This ensures that your actions align with the future you desire. This gives you a deep sense of satisfaction that lasts longer than short-term rewards. Patience isn't a random thing. It's a conscious choice that requires discipline, mindfulness, and clear intention. It's the force that keeps you on track in life, the anchor that helps you stay calm and the lens through which you can better see your path. When you live with patience, you gain the strength, wisdom, and focus to live your life meaningfully and thoughtfully, ensuring that every decision brings you closer to the life you desire. Patience teaches you how to avoid impulsive reactions and connect your decisions to your long-term goals. As you move through life this way, you realize that the greatest rewards are not praise or recognition, but the journey itself. The effort, growth, and discipline you put into each step are more valuable than any applause. When you stop worrying about being recognized by others, you feel more connected to what really matters. When you focus on the journey, rather than just the destination, you no longer feel pressured to impress others. While recognition can be nice, it's short-lived and dependent on things you can't control. When you focus on your personal growth and progress, you experience a deep sense of satisfaction that doesn't depend on the opinions of others. This inner attitude puts you in control of your motivation. Focusing on the process also helps you cope better with setbacks. If you only focus on external rewards, mistakes can hit hard, especially if others see them as failures. But if you value the journey itself, difficulties become part of the learning process. This perspective makes it easier to deal with problems without stress because you see every challenge as an opportunity for growth. Your resilience grows naturally because you know that your worth doesn't depend on others. This mindset also helps you stay consistent. If you're motivated solely by praise, your energy often fluctuates depending on the recognition you receive. If, on the other hand, you focus on the journey itself, your motivation comes from within. The work itself becomes its own reward, giving you a sense of purpose and satisfaction that keeps you going even in difficult times. Consistency thus arises naturally from your inner drive and creates habits that help you succeed in the long run. A major benefit of appreciating the journey is that you continually hone your skills. When you're not in a hurry to achieve a goal quickly, you can take the time to focus fully on the task at hand. This way you learn better, develop new skills, and find a deeper connection to what you're doing. Mastery isn't just about finishing something, it's about constantly improving, and that only happens when you respect the process. Focusing more on the doing than on praise also boosts your creativity. External praise often brings with it expectations that can limit your originality. When you focus on the work itself, you're free to try out new ideas, experiment, and be bold without fear of judgment. This freedom allows your creativity to flourish and leads to new discoveries that might not have otherwise occurred because you were trying to please others. This mindset also strengthens your relationships. When you're not just looking for praise, you're less likely to compare yourself to others or compete for attention. Instead, you can genuinely celebrate others' successes and help them. This creates friendships based on respect, not competition. This leads to you feeling like part of a community where everyone is growing together rather than competing against each other. Focusing on the process also means living in the here and now. The desire for recognition often draws you into the future and puts pressure on you to achieve something quickly. However, when you value the journey itself, you stay in the moment and experience each step consciously. This enhances your experiences and reduces the stress that comes from constantly striving for praise. This attitude also deepens your sense of what matters. If you only focus on recognition, your goal can seem superficial or predetermined by others. However, if you appreciate the journey, you will find a connection to the deeper meaning of your work and align your actions with your values and passions. This creates fulfillment that goes beyond external rewards because your efforts reflect who you are and what is important to you. Focusing on the process also builds your self-confidence. When you fully engage with your work, you better understand what you are good at, where you can still grow, and how to tackle challenges with courage. This is how you continually develop. When you prioritize the process, your gratitude also grows. Each step gives you the chance to recognize how far you've come, what you've learned, and how much effort you're putting in. This gratitude makes you more content because you learn to enjoy the moment instead of always looking for something else. It becomes a powerful force that reminds you how valuable the journey itself is. Appreciating your efforts more than praise also strengthens your honesty with yourself. When you make decisions based on your own values and not what others expect, you remain true to yourself. This honesty creates harmony between who you are and what you do, helping you be authentic and genuine in your entire life. This way of thinking also alleviates the fear of making mistakes. When you rely heavily on the praise of others, failure can feel like a major setback, as if you've lost value in their eyes. However, when you focus on the journey itself, failure becomes a natural and beneficial part of the learning process. Every misstep becomes an important experience, and every detour provides an opportunity to evolve. This attitude not only builds your inner strength, but also encourages you to try new things and take bold steps without fear of failure. When you focus on your development, your relationship with yourself also changes. Instead of constantly seeking praise, you can honestly acknowledge your progress without comparing yourself to others. This recognition gives you more confidence and a kinder attitude toward yourself. You become your own strongest supporter and need less external validation. This mindset also contributes to finding lasting happiness. Praise and recognition from outside often only last a short time, and so you quickly search for the next validation or success. In contrast, the path you are walking is a steady flow full of opportunities for growth, wonder, and inner happiness. When you begin to appreciate the path, a joy arises that lasts because it comes from your own effort and development, not from the applause of others. In fact, it's like this. Prioritizing the path over praise means freedom. It frees you from the pressure of having to please everyone and allows you to pursue your goals honestly and with inner strength. You stop being guided by the opinions of others and instead focus on what is truly important to you, your inner growth, your values, and the joy of being on the journey. This freedom not only changes how you work, but also how you view life. It gives you direction that goes far deeper than any external reward. When you prioritize the path over praise, you no longer need the approval of others to feel fulfilled. You find it in what you do and learn. But even with this attitude, you will sometimes be judged from outside. Then you need something strong within you, self-acceptance. It's like solid ground beneath your feet, a trust in yourself that isn't shaken by the changing opinions of others. It gives you the quiet, sure conviction that your worth comes from your actions, your values, and your character, and not from external judgments. Self-acceptance begins with truly getting to know yourself. When you know what you're good at, what you struggle with, and what you believe in, you have an inner map that helps you make decisions. This knowledge protects you from the noise of the outside world because you no longer need to seek approval. Your decisions are then based on what suits you and your goals. This feels genuine and stable, even when you're criticized. And this feeling of authenticity allows your confidence to grow. When you trust yourself, you go through life with confidence because you know that your worth is not up for debate. Criticism may hurt you briefly, but it no longer throws you off track. You can listen to it calmly, take the good from it, and simply let go of what doesn't help you. With self-acceptance, your perspective changes. You no longer try to prove yourself, but want to grow for yourself. One of the greatest treasures of self-acceptance is the freedom it gives you. When you constantly seek validation, you often do things to please others and lose sight of your own goals. When you accept yourself, you no longer need to adapt just to be liked. You can make decisions that truly suit you, even if not everyone likes them. This is true self-respect, which makes you strong and allows you to be yourself, without justifying yourself. Self-acceptance also helps you deal better with rejection. When your confidence comes from within, you don't immediately feel worthless when someone rejects you. You understand that rejection is a part of life and doesn't reflect your worth. With this attitude, you can calmly continue on your path, learn from every experience, and not let bad feelings guide you. Rejection becomes a stepping stone on which you can build, rather than an obstacle. And that strengthens your confidence in yourself and your abilities. When you listen to your inner voice, you also make better decisions. When you're not constantly influenced by opinions, you can make decisions that truly align with your beliefs and goals. This clarity helps you act wisely and consciously, not out of fear, but out of conviction. This way, even in uncertain times, you stay true to yourself and know what's important to you. Accepting yourself also improves how you interact with others. When you don't constantly need validation, you speak more openly and honestly with people. It's less about what you get and more about what you can give. You're being yourself, kind and helpful, without asking for anything in return. This deepens your friendships and connections because people sense that you're honest and trust them. At the same time, the pressure to pretend to be someone you're not or to fulfill expectations that don't fit you disappears. This inner attitude also fosters your creative power. If you worry too much about what others think, it can block your thoughts. You might then be afraid to express new ideas for fear of being laughed at or criticized. But if you trust yourself, a safe space develops within you where you can try things out and experiment. You dare to pursue bold ideas without letting the fear of making mistakes stop you, because you know that your worth doesn't depend on whether something succeeds right away. This way, you continue to grow and discover new things without being held back by doubt. Accepting yourself also makes you stronger internally. If you base your worth on what others say, your feelings will constantly fluctuate. Sometimes you feel good, sometimes bad. But if your self-worth comes from within, you will remain stable even if others reject or criticize you. Then you can handle challenges more calmly because you know your strength lies not in what others think of you, but in how you see yourself. Another wonderful effect of self-acceptance is the clarity it gives you. When you're not trying to please others, you'll realize much more quickly what's truly important to you. You'll be better able to decide where to focus your time and energy. This way, you learn to say no to things that distract you or aren't good for you. Instead of losing yourself, you stay true to yourself and focus on what's truly important to you. Self-acceptance also brings more self-love. If you derive your worth solely from the praise of others, mistakes feel like proof that you're not good enough. But when you accept yourself, you can look at yourself with compassion, even in difficult moments. You recognize that you are valuable despite your mistakes. Instead of judging yourself, you use setbacks as opportunities to learn. This creates a warm, loving connection with yourself that makes you braver, more confident, and more content. Accepting yourself also helps you pursue real goals. When your self-confidence comes from within, you are less easily distracted by what's currently in or what others are doing. You can focus on what really excites you and align your goals with what is important to you. Your successes then feel much more real because they come from within you and not from the desire to please someone else. And that not only makes you proud, but also brings inner peace. Because if you're always just waiting to be praised, it's exhausting. You constantly feel like you have something to prove. But with self-acceptance, this pressure disappears, and you can breathe a sigh of relief because you know you are enough just the way you are. When you listen to your inner voice, you become more independent. You no longer need constant approval to feel safe. You can make your own decisions because you trust yourself. You feel what is right for you and follow that path. This makes you strong and secure, because true strength does not come from outside but from within. When you don't bend yourself just to meet expectations, but remain yourself, you feel true freedom. You don't have to hide or be someone else. And that can be exactly what inspires other people, because they see in you how beautiful it is to truly be yourself. At its core, self-acceptance means regaining control of your life. You decide who you are and no longer leave it to the opinions of others. This decision changes how you experience yourself and how you view life. You build a strong foundation of self-confidence and genuine happiness, one that endures even when everything outside is shaky. When you believe in yourself, you don't have to wait for others to do so. You become strong, not because others believe in you, but because you do. Self-acceptance shows you that you can find your worth within yourself, no matter what others think or say. And although the world often wants to tempt you to seek approval, you must learn to resist this temptation. The desire to be liked can distract you from what is essential, from your peace, your true self. But the more you trust your own worth, the freer you become. You stay true to yourself, retain your strength, and live your life according to your inner values, not what others expect. The desire to be liked and admired can trap you. You begin to conform to ideas that don't align with your heart. When you wait for others to tell you you're good enough, your sense of self changes depending on what others think. You then chase after praise and approval, and may lose sight of your inner balance and your true self. But when you learn not to follow this desire, something inside you becomes very light, like a bird that finds the door to its cage open. You begin to live according to your own values, not according to others' ideas. This doesn't mean you don't care about other people, but it does mean that your worth comes from what you do, what you believe, and who you want to become, not from applause. When you're constantly trying to please, you often find yourself obsessing over whether your decisions are being well received. But when you let go of the need for recognition, you make decisions with clarity and confidence in yourself, and can focus on what really matters to you. The urge to be praised from outside can make you pay more attention to your outward image than to your inner self. You might then follow paths that seem brilliant, but don't feel right to you. But when you no longer wait to be admired, you can rely on your inner convictions again. You stay true to yourself and find a path that suits your heart, full of meaning and authenticity. This direction gives you a feeling of deep contentment that no praise in the world can replace. When you stop seeking validation, you become stronger inside. Criticism or rejection are things that everyone encounters, but when your trust comes from within, the words of others no longer cut you so deeply. Then you can see criticism as an opportunity to learn, grow, and move on. This way you protect yourself from the fluctuations of other people's opinions and stay on your own path. When you free yourself from the need to please, courage arises within you. The courage to try new things even if they are unsafe. The fear of being judged stops many people from daring to try something, and so they prefer to stay in the familiar, even if it feels empty. But when you don't need approval, you become braver. You dare to start new things, not because you are certain of success, but because you know that your worth does not depend on the outcome. This courage opens up new paths for you and strengthens your self-confidence, because you realize that you can overcome challenges even without applause. And that changes your relationships too. If you are constantly trying to be liked, you may only show an adapted version of yourself, and that creates distance. But when you let go of the need to pretend, real connections develop in which you can be who you are. People can sense when someone is honest, and they are attracted to that, not to an illusion. When you stop seeking approval, you make decisions that are true to yourself. If you base your decisions too much on others, you risk giving up your own values and desires just to fit in. But when you rely on your inner voice, you can make clear, thoughtful decisions. You then know what you want, and your actions reflect who you truly are. This gives you not only security, but also perseverance, because each decision brings you a step closer to the life you want to create for yourself. When you learn to live without recognition, you also become more internally independent. If your self-worth depends on what others say, then their whims can throw you off balance. But if you remain internally free, you can calmly and confidently follow your own path, no matter what others think. This independence makes you internally strong and helps you deal with life's ups and downs more calmly. Letting go of this need also opens up space for honest reflection. When you stop seeking constant praise, you can focus on how you're developing. You're not constantly comparing yourself to others, but rather observing how you're growing. You begin to understand yourself better because you're no longer waiting for others to judge you. Instead, you see for yourself whether you're acting in accordance with your values. Self-reflection thus becomes a powerful tool for making decisions that suit you and your path in life. And this too fits well with an old Stoic idea. Focus on what's in your own hands. You can't determine what others think of you, but you can decide how you think of yourself. When you learn to evaluate your own actions, you're free from the insecurity created by other people's judgments. This attitude brings you inner peace and clarity, because you're no longer wasting energy trying to change the image others have of you. This inner freedom allows you to see mistakes as a normal part of learning. Often, the fear of failure stems from the fear of being disliked, but when you stop seeking approval, mistakes become valuable experiences instead of defeats. This way, you develop inner strength and become more adaptable because you dare to take risks and learn from mistakes. Without the pressure to do everything perfectly, failures become steps on which you can continue to grow. When you stop longing for praise, you open up space for your own ideas. The desire to belong can prevent you from allowing new thoughts to emerge because you're afraid of being different. But when you let go of this pressure, you can think courageously and honestly, regardless of what others expect. This leads you to discover new things and forge your own path. Another valuable benefit is the self-confidence that slowly grows within you. When you acknowledge yourself, you learn to believe in your abilities. This trust forms the stable foundation upon which you can act with courage, seize new opportunities, and build relationships honestly. Confidence that comes from within is strong because it doesn't waver when others change their minds. When you let go of the quest for validation, true humility emerges. This may sound strange, but true humility comes from knowing your worth without constantly having to prove it. Those who know themselves don't need to beg for recognition. Instead, they radiate quiet strength. This inner attitude also helps you to truly be yourself. When you stop trying to gain recognition, you can fully accept yourself without hiding or pretending. A life of authenticity brings joy and ease because you don't have to put on an act, and you become a role model for others who see how beautiful it is to stay true to themselves. Fundamentally, the decision to forego praise is about finding your own direction. It means that you don't base your worth on the opinions of others. This gives you inner strength, freedom, and a life that is yours. But there's something that often holds you back. If you've been trying to break out of old patterns for a long time and haven't succeeded, there's a reason. You may not know what it is, but I do. It's fear. It sneaks up on you like a snake, and before you know it, it's poisoned you. Then you live with uncertainty, sometimes for years. But there's an antidote that the ancient Stoics already knew, and modern psychology confirms it. It helped me too. I made a video showing how to break free. You'll find it in the first comment. Click on it and start banishing this poison from your life. When you adopt this way of life, an inner strength emerges that changes the way you view yourself and others. You become clearer, more secure, and remain true to yourself. regardless of opinions that come and go. Especially in uncertain times, your decisions have more power than any outside opinion. In such moments, the virtue of prudence is like an inner compass. It helps you act with foresight and calm even when the path is unclear. Being wise doesn't mean overthinking everything, but acting with heart and mind, consciously, honestly, and with an eye on what really matters. When you're unsure, you often want to act quickly to get rid of the uncertainty. But prudence encourages you to pause for a moment before you do something. This way, you act not out of stress, but out of clarity. Even if you feel overwhelmed, this calm helps you think clearly again and weigh up which decision is best for you. Acting prudently also requires knowledge. Uncertainty often feels so oppressive because you're not seeing the bigger picture. If you take the time to understand the situation and consider different sides, you'll become calmer and be able to make informed decisions. Prudence also teaches you to carefully consider your options. In moments of uncertainty, it's easy to make hasty decisions for fear of missing out. But prudence shows you that you don't have to rush. You can take time to reflect and consider the possible consequences. This attitude doesn't slow you down. It makes your decisions more accurate and better. When you consider your options calmly, you're more likely to find a solution that will help you today and tomorrow. A wise person remains true to their inner values. When many things are uncertain, their beliefs are often tested, and it is difficult to remain steadfast. But those who act prudently base their decisions on what is truly important to them and remain honest with themselves, even when many things seem uncertain. This connection to their own convictions provides security and inner peace, because they know that they are not bending over backwards just to please others. Smart thinking also brings with it patience, a very helpful skill when everything seems urgent. Being patient means pausing for a moment, thinking clearly and not acting hastily. It is the strength to wait for the right moment and then act with care, not to hesitate, but to consciously choose when to do something. Not only patience, but also the ability to embrace new things is strengthened by wisdom. When something unexpected happens, it helps to adapt your plan without giving up. Smart thinking shows that change is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. You can reorient yourself, turn difficulties into new paths, and still move forward, even if things don't go as planned. Being smart also means thinking ahead and keeping the potential consequences of your actions in mind. In stressful times, it's often tempting to act immediately just to feel better, but remaining level-headed helps you gain distance and consider what is good for the long term. This foresight not only leads to better decisions, but also protects you from unexpected consequences and gives you the feeling of being in control of your own life. Those who act carefully also maintain better relationships. Because in difficult moments, misunderstandings can quickly arise. Those who consider how others feel with a clear head before they say or do something show compassion and understanding. This attitude ensures that others sense that you are handling their feelings with care. Wisdom also means concentrating on what you can influence. When so much is unclear, you can quickly feel powerless. But those who act wisely focus their attention on what they can really change, their own decisions, behavior, and thoughts. This strengthens the feeling of not being at the mercy of others, but of being able to act consciously. Furthermore, prudence helps you worry less. When you don't know what will happen next, you often overthink things. But when you learn to make decisions calmly, thinking becomes easier. You realize that you can find intelligent answers within yourself, and that makes you strong and confident. Smart behavior also helps overcome setbacks. It's not about doing everything right, but about learning from mistakes. Reflecting allows you to recognize what went well and what needs to be changed. This way, every experience becomes an opportunity for better understanding and growth. The importance of smartness is also evident at work. Acting too hastily often causes chaos, but leading with prudence brings calm and trust. Good leadership means speaking honestly, explaining uncertainties, and providing support to others. This creates a sense of togetherness in which thoughtful action is valued. Wisdom also brings with it humility, because it shows that you don't know everything. In difficult moments, you quickly rely on old experiences or your own gut feeling. But truly smart people ask questions, listen, and allow other opinions to be heard. This creates a space in which you can learn from one another, not because you know everything better, but because you remain open-minded. Acting smart doesn't mean having to be perfect. It means doing the best you can with the knowledge you have. You don't have to have all the answers to make good decisions. Those who think this way realize wisdom is something that grows with every experience, with every courageous step you take. Ultimately, wisdom is about ensuring that what you do matches what you believe in, that you make decisions that align with your goals, and that you remain honest about what is happening in your life. This inner clarity provides direction and calm, even in times of doubt. Then problems become new opportunities, mistakes become learning moments, and uncertainty becomes a space in which you can show how strong and genuine you really are. Wisdom is much more than a skill. It is a way of walking upright through life. It reminds you that you can make wise and confident decisions even when you feel uncertain. Those who follow this path create a solid foundation of trust, perspective, and strength, and can face every challenge with an open heart. Making good decisions alone is not enough. It is also important to look beyond the moment. The real strength lies in thinking about tomorrow and adopting an attitude that values constant growth over quick success. This calm way of thinking, which emphasizes perseverance and clarity, will take you further than chasing quick results. It is the ability to invest in what will last, rather than settling for what seems easily achievable. Those who only look for quick gains often pay a high price. Many give up security for false hope and chase rewards that do not last. But those who want to create something for the long term need steadfastness, patience, and the desire to build something valuable. When you shift your focus from immediate successes to future opportunities, you gain the strength to deal with disappointments better. Looking ahead helps you find a clear path, because you understand that every action, no matter how small it may seem, brings you closer to your bigger goal. This inner attitude protects you from distractions because you recognize what really matters instead of being guided by the noise of the moment. Long-term thinking gives direction to your actions and ensures that you put your energy into things that fit with your inner picture of the future. This also teaches you to be calm. In a world that celebrates quick results, calm waiting is rare but important. Those who focus on the big picture learn to appreciate the journey. Growth takes time. It's not about simply waiting, but about pressing on with heart and mind, even when progress feels slow. This kind of perseverance makes you stronger, because you learn to deal with setbacks without losing sight of your plan. It also helps you proceed more thoughtfully. Short-term thinking often leads to decisions that seem quick, but lack lasting value. When you consider the future, you examine whether your actions align with your deeper goals. This way, you move forward not only with strength, but also with direction. That is the beginning of true success. Those who look at the long term also compare themselves less with others, because when you know that everyone follows their own path, you measure your progress not by speed, but by whether it suits you. This way, you can be happy about the steps you've taken without feeling rushed. True success has nothing to do with haste, but with depth and consistency. Those who plan for the long term also take on more responsibility. Long-term goals make you realize that your decisions have consequences. You begin to act according to your own values because you realize that you help shape what becomes of your life. This strengthens your character and deepens your dedication. Another valuable aspect of this attitude is inner strength. Those who only focus on the present quickly become tired. The constant pressure for immediate success can be exhausting. But if you think long-term, you learn to find your pace, conserve energy, and maintain the joy of moving forward. This strength helps you survive even difficult times because you know that progress isn't always straight. But with courage and patience, it can still be achieved. Thinking ahead also makes you more inventive. When you don't let yourself be guided solely by today, space is created for fresh ideas. This openness helps you discover new paths that remain hidden to others. Long-term thinking fits well with the Stoic perspective of focusing on what you can influence. Even if the future is uncertain, you can set direction through your decisions. Those who focus on lasting growth concentrate on habits and actions that fit their inner picture of life. This attitude gives you security because you feel you can help shape your future instead of fearing it. It also brings you greater satisfaction. Quick wins only bring short-term joy, but long-term striving is connected to a meaning that is anchored deep in the heart. This happiness does not depend on results, but on the certainty that you are working step by step towards something that is aligned with your own values. Looking far into the future also helps build stronger connections with other people. When you focus your attention on what matters later, you approach others with calm and compassion and strive to foster trust and closeness rather than simply seeking quick recognition. This path leads to deeper, more honest connections because others sense that genuine togetherness and shared growth are important to you. Such relationships give you support and give you strength on your journey. When you commit to the long term, you learn how valuable reliability is. Those who only think short term often give their all suddenly, only to quickly become discouraged when the desired success doesn't materialize. But when you focus on what grows step by step, you realize that small conscious actions have big effects over time. Perseverance is an essential part of true success because it ensures that you stay true to your goals. Another valuable aspect of long-term thinking is that it can relieve internal pressure. Those who only focus on quick results often experience intense stress. But when you think long-term, you learn to appreciate the journey and understand that positive developments require patience. This attitude takes away your fear of failure and allows you to work towards your goals with confidence and calm. Long-term thinking also teaches you humility. It reminds you that big dreams take time and become reality through constant effort and perseverance. This attitude helps you to appreciate not only the goal, but also every step that leads you there. Humility in long-term action shows you that every step counts and that learning never stops, but is part of the journey. At its core, long-term thinking means organizing yourself internally. Your actions align with what's important to you, your commitment is aligned with your dreams, and your view remains open to the bigger picture. This inner order gives you clarity about what you live for and ensures that your decisions align with what you want to build. When you embark on this path, obstacles transform into opportunities to grow, difficult moments become valuable insights, and progress brings you true joy. It's not just about being successful, but about living consciously and honestly. This attitude shows you that true success doesn't lie in quick profits, but in creating something meaningful and lasting. When you focus on the bigger picture, you create a strong foundation of perseverance, clarity, and contentment on which you can build your life. Taking a longer-term view also helps you stay patient, stay focused, and stick with what's truly worthwhile. But even the best ideas can fail if too much information is shared too quickly. Being cautious about what you share is a quiet but powerful skill that protects your goals. Being selective with information helps you keep your plan and use your power for what is right. It's not about hiding something or being dishonest. It's about sensing when the moment is right to say something and when it's better to wait. In a world where constant talking is expected, restraint seems to have become rare, but its value remains. When you choose mindfully what you share, you retain control over your story, your power, and your environment. When you say everything right away, you often lose sight of what's important and give others the opportunity to misunderstand you or even slow you down. When you keep some things to yourself, you protect your plans and your inner peace. A particular advantage of restraint is that it helps you see things more clearly. If you don't share everything right away, you can better recognize what really matters. without being distracted by the noise of other people's opinions. If you share too much, you often receive unsolicited advice or criticism that can derail you. If you use words carefully, you will stick to your goal and feel more confident in your decisions. This clarity strengthens your will and ensures that you focus on what is important to you. Being careful in your speech also helps you conserve your energy. If you constantly have to explain what you are planning, it drains a lot of inner strength. But if you move forward quietly, you can concentrate fully on your actions. This way you will stay stronger and be able to make better progress. Those who are mindful of their thoughts also learn to plan wisely. When you consciously decide what to say, you retain control over when and how others find out about it. This control is a powerful tool that helps you achieve your goals. It also ensures that others trust and respect you because they sense that you speak thoughtfully and honestly. In relationships, this strengthens cohesion because it promotes trust. Those who say too much can overwhelm others or unintentionally cause problems. When you choose mindfully what to share, you show that you respect both your own boundaries and those of others. This cautious way of speaking shows that you are not just seeking attention, but that you are truly engaged. Restraint also protects you from being influenced by others. If you are too open, people may recognize your weaknesses and try to use them against you. If you keep certain things to yourself, you stay stronger and ensure that your decisions truly suit you and are not just made because others expect something of you. It's not about keeping your distance from others, but about maintaining control over your own decisions. Another great advantage of restraint is that it makes you more independent. If you keep your thoughts and plans to yourself for the time being, you learn to listen to your own feelings. This strengthens your self-confidence because you feel that you can go your own way without needing external validation. Those who rely on themselves feel strong because you realize, I can decide for myself what is right for me. Restraint also teaches you to be patient. We often want to say things quickly to get an immediate reaction or recognition, but if you choose to wait, your thoughts learn to continue to grow until the moment is right. This patience makes your ideas clearer and gives you more confidence when you finally share them. A thought from ancient philosophy also helps. Focus on what you can influence. You can't control how others react to your words, but you can decide when and how you say something. When you consider what really needs to be said, you stay calm and maintain your inner strength. This way, you protect your own story and conserve your energy instead of wasting time. Restraint also helps you deal better with difficult situations. If you say too much in an argument, it can only make things worse or be misunderstood. But if you learn to hold back, you can stay calm and focus on a solution instead of escalating the conflict. If you choose your words carefully, the conversation will be clearer and more helpful. At school or later in your career too, restraint shows that you can take responsibility. If you say too much, things often become unclear. But if you know when to say something and when not to, others will take you seriously. Such people build trust and help others work well together. If you think carefully about how you communicate something, you strengthen cooperation and make it easier for others to make good decisions. Restraint also shows that you're humble. If you choose not to make everything public, you understand that not everything needs to be shared or confirmed by others. This humility helps you stay calm, because you know that even what you don't say matters. Often it's your actions that speak louder than any words. Humble people stay true to themselves and don't lose sight of what's important. They do something because it's right, not to be admired. Restraint also helps you calm down. If you talk too much, you might worry about how others might understand. But if you keep certain things to yourself, you no longer have to worry about them. You think more clearly and can concentrate on what is really important to you. This reduces stress and builds your self-confidence. Restraint also helps you listen better. When you are not constantly concentrating on saying something about yourself, you have more space to really listen to others. This shows that you care about what others think and feel, and not just about being heard. When you listen attentively, you understand better and show compassion. This builds trust and mutual respect. At its heart, restraint is about staying true to your direction, making sure your words match your inner self, your actions match what matters to you, and your energy flows where you truly want to go. This alignment helps you stay honest, keep track of things, and ensure you're moving forward toward your goals. Restraint empowers silence, makes your privacy valuable, and your reticence a wise tool. It's not just about keeping quiet, but about consciously choosing what you share and why. Real influence comes not from being loud, but from speaking with deliberation. When you practice restraint, you protect your power, amplify your impact, and gain trust in yourself and from others. It shows you the power of calm and self-control and helps you act wisely, not on a whim. Building on this comes the next important step, developing inner confidence, which comes from good decisions and honest behavior. In a world full of loud voices and self-promotion, who you truly are is revealed by your actions, not your words. Improving your character isn't about wanting to be the center of attention. It's about being sincere, acting kindly, and doing things that align with your values. This quiet confidence sets you apart from others, not by grand gestures, but by staying true. Character isn't revealed by what you say, but by what you do repeatedly. Actions speak louder than words, and those who live by good values have a depth that no amount of bragging can ever match. Quiet confidence comes from knowing what is important to you and living accordingly. This authenticity gives you strength and ensures that others respect you even when you least expect it. People notice when someone is honest, and it is precisely this calm, reliable behavior that sticks in their memory. A life with firm values requires clear convictions. If you don't know exactly what is right, it is easy to be guided by pressure or whims, but inner confidence grows when you know what you believe in and act accordingly. This clarity makes decisions easier and prevents you from constantly having to justify yourself or adapt. In this way, values help you face challenges with courage and inner calm. Helpfulness is a beautiful way to show value, especially when it's done quietly and without expectation. Genuine helpfulness doesn't ask for anything in return. It's not about praise or attention, but about doing good and helping others. The best deeds are often quiet because they come from the heart and aren't meant for applause. They show how strong a person is when they show compassion and don't make themselves the center of attention. Being honest is another important part of inner confidence. Many people try to show only their best sides, but truly being true to themselves is something special. Living honestly means accepting yourself as you are, flaws and all, and not pretending. It's not about being perfect, but about staying true to yourself. This honesty gives you freedom because you no longer have to put on an act. It gives you courage because it shows that true confidence comes from being genuine, not from pretending. A life of good values also requires humility. Quiet confidence doesn't mean bragging or putting yourself above others. Humility ensures you do the right thing without waiting for praise. It reminds us that our worth doesn't depend on how many people see it, but on listening to our hearts. It also helps us be grateful for everything we have, for opportunities, friendships, and experiences that shape us. Gratitude makes it easier to live a meaningful life and make a difference every day. Inner strength also grows through living a life with values. When you don't make your self-esteem dependent on what others think, criticism doesn't affect you as much. You know you can build on your convictions and are less easily unsettled. This strength helps you persevere even in difficult times because you have confidence in your path and know you're doing the right thing. Quiet trust also makes friendships stronger. When you are honest and act kindly, others sense your sincerity. People feel comfortable with you because they notice that your words and actions match. This creates relationships that are genuine and deep, not superficial or focused on making a quick impression. A life with good values creates lasting connections. It also brings greater clarity about yourself. To live with quiet strength, you must regularly reflect on what you do and why. This reflection helps you develop further and strengthen your character. You recognize what you can do better and get to know yourself better. This brings inner peace and joy. When you know you're living authentically, quiet confidence becomes a source of strength. The certainty that you're doing what aligns with your values gives you courage and clarity. This strength doesn't seek to dictate to others but grows from genuine action. It helps you overcome hurdles and pursue your goals with a calm heart. A life like this also brings good balance. When your self-confidence comes from your actions, you're less susceptible to external distractions. You stick to what really matters and pursue your path with perseverance. This protects you from exhausting yourself just to please others. Those who constantly try to be perfect or seek quick success quickly tire, but a life with inner stability doesn't need external prizes. It thrives on clear decisions that show you who you really are. Over time, this behavior becomes a habit and leads to a truly fulfilling life in a way that no amount of applause can replace. Quiet trust can touch others deeply. When you live honestly and clearly, you demonstrate how strong one can be by setting a good example without much talk. Your commitment to kindness, humility, and perseverance shines a quiet light on others and proves that true strength comes from inner clarity. It's not about fame or approval, but about doing good with actions. Ultimately, quiet trust means you are in alignment. Your actions are in line with your beliefs, your thoughts with your principles, and your life with your true self. This unity brings peace and strength and helps you face life's challenges with courage and purpose. When you quietly and unobtrusively practice kindness, genuineness, and humility, your being becomes strong in a way that speaks louder than any voice. In a world full of noise, the quiet confidence that grows from virtue is like a bright light that shows courage and truth. It reminds us that a person's true nature is not what they say, but what they do. When you live honestly and with firm goals, you build a stable foundation of confidence, inner strength, and contentment. This sets you apart and can encourage others. Such quiet self-confidence is not just a way of life, but also a way to empower yourself and those around you, with every good step. This special strength helps you stay genuine, act clearly, and find inner peace without needing praise. But even if you become internally strong, life sometimes demands something else of you, the ability to let go. In a world that pushes us to achieve more and more, true strength often lies in recognizing when it is better to calm down and let things take their course. Stoicism shows us that patience, calmness, and prudence are not signs of weakness, but rather expressions of wisdom. When you loosen your expectations, you make room for clarity, new thoughts, and what is truly dear to you. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting the path you are taking. It is a belief in yourself and in the life that carries you. When you stop forcing everything, you open yourself up to development and inner balance. This calm feeling doesn't come from giving up, but from the realization that holding on tightly is often blocking and draining. By letting go of thoughts and desires, space is made for ideas, trust, and new paths. To relax, you first need inner clarity. If you don't know exactly what you want, you'll feel restless because your thoughts are torn between them. Stoicism helps you consider what's truly important to you. If you align your goals with what makes sense to you, it becomes easier to make decisions and focus on what matters most without distraction. Clarity clears your mind, reduces fears, and paves the way for decisive action. Another important aid to letting go is giving up the desire to control everything. Control is often just a feeling that easily turns into disappointment when things don't go as planned. Letting go means understanding that you are in control of your decisions, but not the consequences. This insight doesn't mean giving up. Rather, it means directing your energy toward what you can shape yourself, your commitment, your attitude, and your inner strength. When you stop expecting perfect results, you free yourself from fear of failure and constant pressure. Relaxation also helps you be fully present in the present moment. Worrying about the future or clinging to the past creates tension that clouds your thoughts and drains your energy. But when you let go, you can focus on what's important now. This presence brings you peace and a sense of being in tune with yourself. You react thoughtfully rather than hastily and can make better decisions that align with your path. In this calm state, you recognize opportunities more easily and feel more confident in your actions. Another beneficial effect of relaxation is that it stimulates your creative thinking. When you're under pressure and overthinking, it's difficult to come up with new ideas. Your thoughts go in circles, but when you relax, space opens up for imagination and fresh ideas. This allows you to approach problems with curiosity and discover new solutions. This mental freedom allows you to recognize things that would otherwise have remained hidden under stress. Your inner resilience also increases with relaxation. Life's challenges feel much more difficult when you approach them with fixed expectations, but when you loosen up, you can adapt better. Letting go makes you more open to change, and you're less shaken by things you didn't plan for. This makes it easier for you to accept setbacks and transform them into valuable experiences. Relaxation shows you that patience and flexibility often achieve more than coercion and rigidity. Being able to let go also has a lot to do with trusting yourself. Sometimes we feel tense because we doubt our own abilities. Then we push ourselves too hard and want to have everything under control. But true self-trust is shown by the fact that you relax because you know that your preparation, your ability, and your gut feeling will guide you. When you trust yourself, you find peace and don't have to constantly prove yourself or fight against life. Your relationships also benefit when you relax. Too much control can lead to arguments, especially when you impose your ideas on others. But when you let go, space is created for true understanding and compassion. You let others be as they are, and this creates trust and connection. This makes your relationships deeper and free of conflict. A rather unexpected benefit of letting go is that it can actually make you more productive. Many people believe that constant activity leads to success, but relaxation often allows you to act more clearly and effectively. When you relax, you conserve energy, stay focused, and avoid overworking yourself. This balance allows you to complete your tasks with inner clarity and intention, accomplishing more without exhausting yourself. So letting go doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing the right thing with calmness and a clear heart. Relaxing also means allowing what you cannot influence to happen, in the spirit of Stoic teachings. If you accept things as they come, you can relax internally and move through life more calmly. Accepting that not everything is predictable frees you from the constant desire to have everything under control. This inner freedom makes room for joy and genuine moments and helps you enjoy the journey itself instead of becoming fixated on the destination. When you learn to remain calm, you also become more open to what you already have. When you stop constantly grasping for the next thing, you begin to recognize how much beauty already exists. Gratitude focuses on what is present and creates contentment and inner peace. This attitude not only makes you happier, but also opens you up to new positive experiences. Relaxation is not a single step, it is an attitude. It's about letting go of pressure, trusting life, and being completely in the moment. She shows that effort and ease are not mutually exclusive, but together form a fulfilling life. When you let go, space grows for development, closeness, and meaning, and your desires can unfold naturally. At its core, relaxation means that your actions align with your values, your energy is focused on your goals, and your thoughts are in tune with the flow of life. This interplay brings inner peace and clear direction, allowing you to move through everyday life with confidence and heart. There is a quiet strength in calm that brings you closer to your desires, but also changes how you experience the path there. Let go and watch life unfold, often completely differently than you imagined. When you relax, you begin to trust the flow. You leave unnecessary pressure behind and find a rhythm that feels good and moves you forward. In doing so, you learn to use the wisdom of Stoic teachings, not as a quick fix, but as profound knowledge that changes your attitude, clarifies your thoughts, and directs your energy toward what truly matters. This attitude helps you align your desires with your actions and the real world, thus laying solid groundwork for real success. The first step towards achieving a goal is to be clear about your intention. If you don't know what you want, you'll get bogged down. But with a clear picture in mind, you can use your energy purposefully. The Stoics place great value on recognizing what is important to you and why. When your intention comes from genuine meaning, rather than a fleeting wish, it becomes meaningful and powerful. This clarity helps you avoid distractions and focus on what really matters. When you know what you want, the next step is doing. For the Stoics, it's not wishing that counts, but taking action with perseverance and direction. A goal that is only conceived remains a dream, but if you take it step by step, it can become reality. The Stoics remind us, no step is too small if it brings you closer. Those who keep moving, and avoid the feeling of being stuck or waiting for the perfect moment. Another central idea of the Stoics is, focus on what you can influence. Many dreams are shattered because we waste our energy on things that are beyond our control. When you concentrate on your decisions, your actions, and your attitude, you feel stronger and become less frustrated. This focus doesn't limit you, instead it frees you from distractions and helps you give your best. Discipline is important if you want to maintain your momentum. Achieving something requires consistency, even when you lack the motivation or when obstacles arise. Discipline is the connection between what you want and what you achieve. It gives you the stability to keep going even in the face of setbacks. The Stoics advise breaking big projects down into small, manageable parts so that each day is a building block for your success. This not only strengthens your inner strength, but also develops pride in what you achieve and helps you stay true to your path. In a world of haste, patience is a precious commodity. Those who can wait without losing hope stand out. True goals take time, and those who are impatient often make hasty decisions that disrupt the bigger picture. For the Stoics, patience is not passive waiting, but calmly, steadily moving forward, even when the reward is not yet visible. In this way, patience becomes a force that inspires confidence in the path. Flexibility is also important. A clear goal shows you the course, but if you cling too tightly to your plan, it will be difficult to deal with surprises. Life is full of twists and turns, and success often lies in venturing onto new paths. Stoic teachings do not see flexibility as weakness, but rather as the courage to rethink your plan and move on. This way, you will not get stuck in difficulties, but rather grow from them. Being flexible does not mean abandoning your own values, but rather adapting your path so that you remain true to your goal. And finally, your perspective on what is happening determines whether you see problems only as obstacles or also as opportunities. Difficulties will always exist, but if you learn to see them as opportunities, you'll become stronger and more resourceful. This perspective will help you persevere and turn setbacks into little stepping stones. Gratitude is another force that can change many things. When you want to get closer to a goal, you can sometimes only focus on what you still lack. In doing so, you can easily forget what you already have. But when you practice gratitude, your perspective changes, from lack to abundance. This new feeling brings peace to your heart and gives you the courage to keep going. The Stoics show that true satisfaction comes not only from achieving something, but also from recognizing the value of the journey there. Gratitude opens your eyes to the good in every single step, even if it is only small. Equally important is the ability to not get too attached to results. It's natural to want something specific, but clinging too tightly to it can lead to disappointment. The Stoics say, you can control your effort, but not always what comes of it. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care. It means you focus on your effort and trust that the right thing will happen. This attitude takes away your fears and helps you approach your goals with a calm heart. Another powerful idea from Stoicism is to turn difficulties into opportunities. When things go wrong, there's often a new possibility hidden within them. You just have to look closely. The Stoics show that setbacks aren't the end, but a new beginning. If you learn to look at challenges differently, you can draw strength from them and move forward with courage. An important part of your journey is knowing yourself well. When you know what drives you and what holds you back, you can work more honestly toward your dreams. Self-awareness also shows you which habits are holding you back and how you can better align your actions with what's truly important to you. This way, you gain clarity and your steps lead you forward more purposefully. The idea of simplicity also helps you. If you want too many things at once, everything becomes confusing and you don't know where to start. But if you keep things simple, you can concentrate better. The Stoics encourage you to shed excess baggage, things that distract or hold you back. This way you have more energy for what really matters. Simplicity makes your life clearer, not smaller. Another powerful aid on your path is a sense of responsibility. When you take responsibility for your actions, your inner confidence grows. You stay on course even when things get difficult. The Stoics say that true strength comes from within, and responsibility is the key to harnessing this power. They also show you how important it is that your goals align with your beliefs. If you only pursue things that shine on the outside but leave you empty inside, you won't be happy. But when your desires align with what matters deep down in your heart, your efforts take on meaning. Then your actions build a life that truly means something to you. At the heart of Stoic teaching is inner balance. It's about finding the right balance between hard work and patience, between perseverance and adaptation, between desire and gratitude. Stoic thinking transforms goals into actions, difficulties into growth, and mistakes into learning moments. If you understand this, you can not only achieve what you desire, you can also live a life full of courage, meaning, and joy. It's not about quick fixes, but about a clear, steady path. With every step, you move forward, calmly and thoughtfully. Stoic action helps you find harmony with yourself and with life. But it's not just your own actions that count. How you interact with others also shapes your path. When you learn how people think and act, it's not about controlling them. It's about understanding with your heart, speaking clearly and acting thoughtfully. When you better understand others and their situations, you can lead wisely, resolve conflicts, and build genuine connections. Such skills help you interact well with others while remaining true to yourself. True influence begins with understanding. People listen to you when they realize you're truly listening. When you pay attention to their thoughts and feelings, you can speak in a way that makes them feel understood. Listening properly is especially important. When someone realizes you're listening sincerely, they're more likely to open up. Then trust can develop. It's not about agreeing with everything. It's about approaching with respect and mindfulness. From this trust, you can guide conversations and make decisions that will help you move forward. It's equally important to express your thoughts clearly. If you're not clear, misunderstandings can arise. The Stoics encourage you to speak calmly and simply so that others understand you well. Clarity doesn't mean being loud or harsh. It means being honest and open. This way you build bridges and create positive conversations. Another key is keeping your emotions in check. Being swept away by strong emotions can cloud your vision and trigger arguments. When you remain calm, even when things get difficult, you create peace within yourself, and others sense it. Your calmness can gently steer a conversation in a positive direction. People feel safe around those who can stay true to themselves. That's why inner calm is so important if you really want to make a difference. Putting yourself in someone else's shoes helps you better understand and connect with them. When you try to see things from their perspective, you'll recognize what motivates them and what they fear. With this knowledge, you can express your thoughts in a way that will be well received. It's not about controlling someone, but about building a bridge of trust and togetherness. This transforms potential points of contention into new ways of working together, where everyone feels seen and respected. Your physical presence also says a lot about how others experience you. Your posture, movements, and demeanor can reveal without words whether you're open and confident. If you stand upright and friendly, you appear approachable and determined. If you easily pick up on the other person's body language, they sense a kind of silent understanding. These small behavioral signals often determine whether a conversation flows well or feels distant. The right moment makes a big difference. Knowing when to speak, when to remain silent, or when to act shows that you're paying close attention to what's happening. Patience gives you the calmness to recognize when the time is right to speak up or change direction. Speaking up too early can lead to misunderstandings, but choosing the right moment will make your contribution more natural and easier to accept. This way, others will sense that you've grasped the situation well and are responding considerately. People are more likely to be open to ideas when they feel they fit their needs or beliefs. When you present your suggestions as help rather than demands, a sense of community develops. This creates a friendly atmosphere, and resistance diminishes because everyone feels seen and included. When your behavior aligns with what you say, trust grows. People are more likely to follow those who are clear and honest. Reliability shows that you stand by what you say and that you can be relied upon. This trust becomes the foundation of your influence because others feel safe with you and believe in your sincerity. Silence can be very powerful. When you pause a conversation for a moment, others have time to reflect. Your words have a deeper impact when they are given space. Silence often encourages others to share their own thoughts. This leads to deeper conversations, and you appear attentive and thoughtful. The silence helps refocus attention on you without any pressure. If you're flexible in your speaking style, you'll be able to interact well with different people. Rigidity can create friction, but if you're willing to adapt, you'll often find common ground. Being flexible doesn't mean abandoning your values, but rather adapting your style to the circumstances. This ability demonstrates that you're compassionate and understanding, and that's precisely why others are happy to follow you. But sometimes, there is something holding you back. Perhaps you have wanted to think freely and develop further for a long time, but something is stopping you. Perhaps you don't know what it is, but I do. It is fear. Fear comes quietly and secretly like a snake. It spreads without you noticing right away. And when it has taken root inside you, life feels heavy and oppressive, but there is a remedy for it. The wisdom of the Stoics, together with modern psychology, can set you free, just as it set me free. I made a video about it. You can find it in the first comment. Click on the link there and find your way out of this fog of fear. Another important step in reaching others is setting your personal boundaries. It's important to be responsive to others, but if you lose yourself in the process, you also lose your impact. Clear boundaries show that you take yourself seriously and make it clear how you should be treated. People respect those who know and uphold their own boundaries. This shows strength and confidence in themselves. Boundaries help you maintain your power and focus on what's important to you. Leading without commanding means showing a path to be taken together. People don't like being controlled, but they do like being inspired. When you ask questions instead of giving orders, you demonstrate trust in the abilities of others. This way, they feel included rather than pressured and become part of a shared vision. This togetherness builds trust because it stems from genuine respect. Being genuine increases your influence. People often quickly notice when someone is feigning, and that creates insecurity. When your behavior matches who you really are, others sense your honesty. This authenticity attracts people because it shows you're not hiding anything. Your advice then comes across as truthful and heartfelt. This can lead to deep, lasting connections. If you reflect on what went well and what you could do differently after a conversation, you'll learn a lot. This retrospective review helps you understand yourself better. You'll recognize whether your behavior aligns with your values and goals. If you do this regularly, you'll become more confident and clear-headed. You'll be able to better understand people and situations, and this will strengthen your inner compass. At its core, good leadership means treating others with respect, understanding, and genuine commitment. It's not about imposing something, but about creating a space where trust can grow. When you cultivate these inner skills, you become capable of acting compassionately and wisely. Your influence then becomes empowering, not oppressive. And that makes you someone who truly makes a difference in conversations, relationships, and what comes out of them. When you know how to steer conversations and influence the outcome with wise words, the power of language becomes clear. Some words can build trust and connect people. Others can destroy friendships, spark arguments, or damage your reputation. The Stoics recognized that wisdom lies not only in what you say, but also in what is better left unsaid. Language is an important tool, and when used wisely, it brings understanding. Thoughtless words, on the other hand, can cause problems. What you say reveals your inner self and influences how others experience you. You have the power to strengthen or destroy friendships, to build bridges or to cause them to collapse. If you pay close attention to how you speak, you can do good with your words instead of acting out of anger or frustration. Mean words often arise when we don't control our feelings or don't think things through. If we say something hurtful in anger, it hardly helps and can leave lasting scars. The Stoics recommend pausing briefly before speaking, to consider whether what you want to say aligns with your values and will have a positive impact. This pause isn't for simply remaining silent, but for making sure your words are useful. It reminds you that a few well-considered words are often more effective than many ill-considered ones. Blaming others is one of the worst things you can say. Pointing the finger might feel good for a moment, but it destroys trust and distracts from solving problems. Instead, strive to understand and work together to turn difficulties into opportunities. Recognizing your own role shows courage and maturity. It creates an atmosphere where others also dare to be honest. When you take responsibility instead of blaming, relationships become stronger, you become more resilient, and you have more self-respect. Another bad habit is speaking out of envy. It's easy to compare yourself to others, especially these days when social media only shows the best moments. When we speak negatively about others, it often reveals more of our own doubts and fears than of the people we're criticizing. Envy can deceive us into thinking that others' successes are taking something away from us, but Stoicism teaches us that everyone follows their own path, with their own struggles and successes. When we acknowledge the successes and struggles of others without judgment, we give ourselves space to grow and be happy. Words that come from envy not only damage your reputation, but often bring trouble into friendships. When you instead speak kindly and supportively, acknowledging the good sides of others, you demonstrate inner confidence and strengthen your connection. Generosity in your words shows that you are at peace with yourself and invites others to be as well. Exaggerations and untruths are just as harmful. It sometimes seems harmless to twist the truth a little, to make yourself look better or gain quick recognition. But this can quickly become a habit, and you end up telling stories that aren't entirely true. Changing the truth may bring short-term praise or manipulation, but in the end, trust disappears. As soon as your honesty is doubted, hardly anyone will believe you anymore, even if you are being honest. The Stoics advise always telling the truth. A life of honesty may not bring immediate success, but it will win respect in the long run. Honest words have a lasting effect, while lies weaken relationships and make you vulnerable, both personally and at work. When you show yourself authentically, you build trust and respect. These are the most important foundations for true success and good friendships. Constant complaining is also a trap. Everyone has bad days and wants to complain when something seems unfair, but constantly complaining, especially about things we can't change, sucks up a lot of energy and puts us in a bad mood. It makes us feel helpless, as if we have no control. The Stoics say that complaining is not a solution, but a sign that we are focusing too much on problems rather than solutions. They recommend changing our perspective. Instead of getting angry about things, we should consider what we can do, what we can learn from them, and how we can turn difficulties into opportunities. Complaining focuses our energy on the negative, while a constructive tone focuses on solutions. When you think and speak like this, you motivate yourself and others to rise above problems. This changes how you see the world. Gossip is a hidden danger. It often seems harmless to talk behind others' backs, perhaps to vent frustration or connect with others, but it actually shows a lack of respect. Gossip often distorts the truth and makes people feel insecure and afraid of what will be said about them when they're not there. The Stoics remind us to focus on ourselves and our behavior, rather than gossiping or guessing about others. By refraining from gossip, we protect our own dignity and build respect and trust around us. Instead of speaking badly about others, Stoicism teaches us to believe in ourselves and act honorably. When you do this, you remain genuine and show others that their privacy and character are important. This creates stronger, more trusting friendships. Defensiveness is another common pitfall that can seriously hinder our conversations. We all feel attacked at times when our behavior or decisions are criticized. The desire to justify ourselves is strong, but if we immediately react angrily or deny everything, we often destroy any chance of a good conversation. The Stoics show us that criticism is not a threat, but an opportunity to learn and improve. Responding to criticism calmly and thoughtfully shows courage, maturity, and the desire to improve. Defensiveness, on the other hand, often betrays insecurity and the difficulty of accepting our own mistakes. When we pause for a moment, listen carefully and reflect on the criticism instead of reacting immediately, we create space for a good conversation. This allows both parties to learn from each other, which builds trust and mutual respect. Empty promises are another form of bad words. How often do we say yes out of pressure or to please others, even though we didn't intend to or can't do it? These promises not only hurt others, but also damage our reputation. People lose trust in us and no longer believe our genuine efforts. The Stoics remind us that actions speak louder than words. We should only promise something if we really want and can keep it. When we say yes to something, we should mean it and stick to it. Reliability is the foundation of strong friendships and relationships, whether personal or professional. When you keep your word, you build trust, respect, and admiration. It's not about just saying what others want to hear, but about always keeping your promises, no matter how big or small. Sarcasm and mean remarks may seem funny in the moment, but they often hurt other people's feelings. Humor is a powerful tool, but when it is used to demean, criticize, or embarrass, it says a lot about the speaker's character. Sarcasm, especially when directed at others, creates distance between people. It creates an unpleasant atmosphere and weakens friendships. The Stoics teach that everyone deserves respect and dignity. Our words should help and build up, not hurt or belittle. Humor that values others and reassures them builds trust and deepens relationships. Instead of using sharp words to briefly gain attention, true wisdom lies in finding words that encourage, strengthen, and bring joy. The Stoic view of words also affects how we speak to ourselves. Negative thoughts about ourselves can hurt just as much as harsh words directed at others. Our inner voice determines how we think and act. It can build us up or belittle us. If we constantly criticize ourselves or only see our mistakes, we fall into a cycle of self-doubt and insecurity. But if we treat ourselves kindly and show understanding, it opens doors to growth. This doesn't mean ignoring problems, rather, it means looking at them with patience and knowing that change takes time. A loving conversation with ourselves makes us strong and courageous because we know that mistakes are opportunities to learn. If you treat yourself with respect and patience, your self-confidence and inner strength will grow. Consciously used silence is a powerful tool. It gives you time to pause, listen carefully, reflect, and respond clearly. Stoic communication isn't about speaking less, but about finding meaningful words. Every word you say has meaning. If you choose them carefully, they will reflect your values and help you accomplish good things. Silence can be a sign of wisdom, a chance to reflect and make sure what you're saying is truly appropriate. If you choose your words consciously and align them with your principles, they will be powerful and respectful. Words can shape friendships, influence opinions, and build or destroy trust. How we speak to others and to ourselves can build bridges or erect walls. This also depends on how we see ourselves. True self-confidence doesn't come from external praise, but from firm decisions that align with our values. The Stoics say that real self-esteem comes from within. It grows when we continually live by principles that foster strength and honesty. When you learn to rely on yourself and stand by your values despite everything, your self-confidence becomes unshakable. This confidence doesn't come from external recognition, but from knowing that you are good as you are. The Stoics say that the first step to strong self-confidence is self-knowledge. This doesn't mean being hard on yourself or dwelling on your mistakes, but rather honestly seeing who you are, what you're capable of, and where you still have room to grow. This realization helps you leverage your strengths while patiently working on weaknesses without feeling bad about yourself. When you accept yourself and understand your capabilities and limitations, you build a firm sense of trust that isn't easily shaken by the opinions of others. Instead of seeking approval, you trust your own image of yourself. This self-knowledge keeps you firmly grounded and gives you the strength to move forward, without being distracted by the words or expectations of others. Another important part of self-esteem is the ability to focus on what you can control. We often feel anxious or insecure when we worry about things beyond our control. For example, what others think, what happened in the past, or things we can't change. The Stoics emphasize the importance of directing your energy toward what you can control, your actions, your choices, and your attitude. When you focus on what you can change, your sense of power and your confidence in yourself grow. This shift in thinking removes the clutter that comes from worrying about things you can't control and helps you stay clear-headed. When you consistently make decisions that align with your values and act on them, you build self-esteem. Every time you act with honesty, discipline, and determination, your confidence grows that you can shape your own life, and this becomes a powerful tool for lasting self-confidence. The Stoics also remind us that self-esteem isn't built from grand deeds or dramatic events. Rather, it grows day after day through small, consistent actions we take. These things may seem small at first, a kind word, an honest effort, or a right decision, but they add up over time, building a life that feels right and is a good fit for you. From this consistency emerges a pattern of reliability you can rely on. When you show yourself that you keep your promises and your actions align with your values, your confidence in your character grows. This confidence forms the foundation of your self-esteem and helps you face challenges with courage, knowing that you have the inner strength to handle whatever comes your way. Self-respect is another important piece when it comes to building strong self-esteem. It means treating yourself with the same kindness and respect you would show a friend. This doesn't mean thinking you're superior to others, but rather recognizing your own worth and setting boundaries that serve you well. The Stoics encourage you to see yourself as the custodian of your mind and body and to treat them with care, respect, and attention. When you respect yourself this way, how others see and treat you automatically changes. People often behave the way you treat yourself. So by setting clear boundaries and valuing your own needs, you show others how you want them to respect you. Self-respect radiates outward, creating a foundation for healthy and balanced relationships and empowering you to move through life with confidence and dignity. The ability to bounce back after failure is also important for your self-esteem. Everyone makes mistakes and experiences setbacks. That's a part of life. Failure is simply part of the journey. It shows us opportunities to learn, adapt, and grow. The Stoics teach that setbacks are not defeats that define us, but opportunities to become stronger. When you face challenges with courage and perseverance and learn from them instead of resenting or doubting yourself, you show yourself that you can overcome difficulties. This builds your confidence because you realize that you can handle difficult situations with courage and determination. This resilience gives you a sense of strength because you know you can handle whatever life throws at you. Gratitude is another powerful tool for boosting your self-esteem. When we only focus on what we lack, we quickly feel inadequate or compare ourselves to others. But when we focus on what we do have, our strengths, successes, and the help we receive from others, we see the richness in our lives. Gratitude reminds us of what's going well and makes us feel more content and confident. It helps us stop constantly comparing ourselves to others because we realize that our path is special and valuable. When you take time every day to appreciate the good things in your life, you affirm your own worth and develop a positive and courageous attitude. Another important point for self-esteem is not to become dependent on external praise and recognition. Of course, compliments feel good, but if we only live off them to feel valuable, we are vulnerable to the opinions of others. The Stoics show us the importance of seeking validation from within ourselves. If you draw your confidence from what you do and live your life according to your values, your self-worth will remain stable, regardless of what others think. This inner confidence gives you stability because your self-esteem is not dependent on fluctuating recognition. You know that your worth is not determined by the approval of others, but by being honest with yourself and staying true to your own principles. Authenticity is a powerful tool for building self-esteem. When you live true to yourself and accept yourself with all your flaws, you feel whole and content. When you try to be someone else or conform to other people's expectations, you create inner conflict that undermines your confidence. The Stoics encourage you to be authentic and teach that self-acceptance and honesty are the keys to a fulfilling life. Being authentic doesn't mean having to be perfect, but rather being honest about who you are and letting your true self live. When you embrace your unique qualities and make choices that are true to you, your self-esteem grows and you build a life that feels real and meaningful. Humility is also an important building block for developing strong self-esteem. Contrary to popular belief, humility doesn't mean belittling yourself or your abilities, but rather honestly accepting both your strengths and weaknesses. Humility helps you approach life with an open heart, knowing that you have valuable qualities, but can also always continue to learn and grow. This balanced perspective gives you self-confidence without making you arrogant or conceited. Humility also fosters deeper and more meaningful relationships because it leads to mutual respect and genuine understanding. People who are humble can communicate better with others without feeling like they have to prove themselves. A sense of purpose in life further strengthens your self-esteem. When you know that your actions represent something greater than yourself, you feel fulfilled and valuable. The Stoics advise living with a purpose that reflects your most important values. When you act intentionally and with purpose, you not only build a meaningful life, but you also feel your actions leaving a positive mark on the world. A purposeful life gives you direction and builds your confidence because you recognize the important contribution you are making. Kindness to yourself and others boosts self-esteem in a unique way. When you show compassion and are generous, you remind yourself that you can make a difference. This outward-looking attitude helps you be less hard on yourself and feel more connected to others. Acts of kindness create a chain reaction that strengthens relationships and, in turn, increases your self-esteem. When you are kind, you affirm your own kindness and create an environment where your self-confidence continues to grow. The ability to forgive yourself is another important part of strong self-esteem. If you cling to feelings of guilt or regret over past mistakes, you can't move forward. The Stoics explain that self-forgiveness doesn't mean ignoring mistakes, but rather embracing them, learning from them, and giving yourself the chance to grow. When you forgive yourself, you free yourself from the burden of self-criticism and make room for new things. This allows you to move forward with a clear heart and strengthened self-esteem. Mindfulness is another tool that can support your self-esteem. When you constantly think about the past or the future, you can easily get lost in worry and doubt. Being mindful means staying in the here and now and seeing your current strengths and successes without being anxious about the future. This reduces clutter in your mind and allows you to better recognize how you are developing. Mindfulness helps you appreciate your growth and potential right now, which boosts your confidence and sense of well-being. Simplicity plays an important role in building self-esteem because it helps you let go of distractions and unnecessary obligations that clutter your mind and your life. In a world full of noise and many tasks, the Stoics advise you to organize your life and focus on what is essential and aligns with your values. When you remove the superfluous, clarity arises, and you can concentrate better. This gives you a sense of control and confidence. When you free yourself from the pressure to always please or to pursue things that don't bring you anything, you have more freedom to pursue goals that truly make you happy. Whether you prefer to maintain a few but good friendships or prioritize your well-being over quick success, simplicity gives you space for conscious choices. In this clear space, you can direct your energy toward what makes you feel alive, and with each decision, your inner peace and confidence grow. The environment you move in is just as important for your self-esteem. The people around you strongly influence how you see yourself. Positive and supportive friends help you feel valuable and believe in yourself. Having people around you who encourage and inspire you can boost your self-confidence. They help you realize your potential and surpass yourself. On the other hand, relationships that drain your energy or make you feel bad can weaken your self-esteem. The Stoics say that your inner circle should reflect your values and offer you not only support but also challenges so that you can grow. That when you consciously spend time with people who share your principles and who make you better, you create an environment that boosts your self-confidence and makes it easier for you to stay true to yourself and your path. An unshakable sense of self-worth doesn't emerge suddenly. It's something you intentionally build with Stoic principles. These values, such as self-knowledge, strength, and authenticity, form a foundation that withstands external pressure. When you live in harmony with your values and make decisions based on them, an inner strength grows that is less easily shaken. This inner strength helps you confidently handle difficult situations because you know your worth doesn't depend on external things. The Stoics emphasize the importance of aligning your actions with your values. When you do this, you feel secure in your decisions and find a deeper sense of contentment. This constant effort to live with honesty and purpose enriches everything you do, turning your self-worth into a powerful force that radiates outward and positively impacts others. While self-esteem grows from within, it can also be shaken by external influences, especially when you allow others to burden your life with negativity, manipulation, or unrealistic expectations. The Stoics show us that an important part of developing strong self-esteem is protecting yourself against such external pressures. What you allow others to impose on you directly affects your spirit, your inner balance, and your sense of purpose. There are some things you should never accept, things that destroy the peace and authenticity you have worked so hard to build. This isn't about conceit, it's about preserving your true self and protecting the harmony you have created in your life. When you learn to protect yourself from harmful influences, your self-esteem and inner peace will remain, regardless of what others think or say about you. The first obstacle you should protect yourself from is unjustified criticism. While helpful feedback can help us grow, mean or unfounded remarks should never take root in your mind. Such words often stem from others' insecurity rather than the truth about you. If you accept them, they sow seeds of doubt that make you doubt yourself and your abilities. The Stoics teach the importance of filtering out negativity, keeping what's useful and letting go of the rest. By avoiding giving space to such words, you maintain your self-esteem and strengthen your confidence in your path. Another dangerous influence is the guilt others try to place on you. True responsibility comes from within, but external guilt is often used to manipulate. People might try to guilt you into doing things that don't align with your values so that you feel obligated to conform to their expectations. The Stoics remind us that our duty is to act honestly and righteously, not to fulfill the false demands of others. When you let go of externally imposed guilt, you free yourself from its influence and can focus on what really matters, making decisions that suit you and your growth. Unrealistic expectations are another pressure that can weaken your self-esteem. Some people project their desires or fears onto you and expect you to act the way they want. If you accept this, you're not living your own life, but someone else's. The Stoics advise taking control of your own destiny and writing your own story. By rejecting the expectations others place on you, you create space for authenticity and growth. This way you can find your true self and pursue your own goals without being limited by others' ideas of success. Manipulation, whether overt or covert, should never be tolerated. Manipulative behavior often disguises itself as care or advice, but underneath it all lies control. When you allow manipulation, you lose your freedom and your self-confidence is weakened. The Stoic practice of emotional detachment helps you recognize manipulation and respond clearly to it, so you maintain your independence. Rejecting manipulation isn't about picking fights, but about protecting your freedom to make decisions based on reason, values, and inner honesty. It's also important to be wary of toxic generosity. Kindness is usually nice, but some people expect something in return or use their help to bind you to them. Such gifts aren't truly free. They bring with them expectations that can unbalance the relationship. The Stoics teach that true generosity is given freely and without conditions. Recognizing this can help you avoid situations that compromise your honesty. True generosity makes both parties feel valued, without hidden agendas or pressure. Drama and unnecessary arguments are burdens that can wear you out if you allow them into your life. When you get sucked into other people's chaos, you often lose focus on your goals and values. The Stoics tell us to focus on what's important and let go of distractions that don't serve us well. Avoiding drama isn't about ducking away, but about intentionally nurturing your inner peace and growth. When you refuse to get drawn into unnecessary arguments, you protect your peace and stay on your path. Life is full of distractions, but when you learn to step back and let go of the noise, you make room for what really matters. Thus, avoiding drama becomes a powerful act of self-care that helps you focus on what really gets you moving forward. Disrespect, whether overt or covert, is another negative influence you should never allow. When others are allowed to treat you without consideration, you only reinforce their disrespect and weaken your own sense of worth. The Stoics show the importance of setting clear boundaries that demonstrate your worth. When you respect yourself and stand up for it, you show others that you will not accept behavior that violates your worth. Setting boundaries is not about being unkind. It is about knowing your worth and being with people who treat you with the same respect that you treat them. Respect is the foundation of good relationships. When you demand respect, you build your self-esteem and create an environment where your worth can grow. Another way people can try to influence you is by creating fear. Often, others use fear to get you to make decisions that benefit them more than you. When fear dominates your thinking, your clear vision is clouded and it becomes difficult to think rationally. The Stoics encourage you to develop courage, clarity, and inner strength so that you can recognize when fear is being used to influence you. When you stand firm in your values, you are less likely to be led astray by fearful warnings from others. Fear, whether of failure, rejection, or change, can lead you astray if you give it too much power. But with courage and a clear mind, as the Stoics teach, you will become strong enough to face these fears and make decisions that are truly right for you and your purpose. Unsolicited opinions often mean well, but can become annoying if accepted without thinking. Everyone has an opinion, but not all of them are useful or appropriate for you. Sometimes people give advice that doesn't fit your life or your goals. The Stoics remind us to think carefully about what advice we accept. only that which truly aligns with our values and will help us move forward. If you accept everything you're told, your thinking loses clarity and unnecessary doubt arises. It's important to learn what really helps and what to reject. This way you can protect your head and your heart and make decisions based on your own principles and wisdom, not the opinions of others. Envy disguised as advice is another covert way others try to influence you, and one you should guard against. Sometimes people make suggestions or say something critical, not because they mean well, but because they feel threatened or are jealous of your success. Such words are intended to weaken your confidence or slow you down. The Stoics teach the importance of paying attention to your own path and not allowing such attempts to derail you. Recognizing the difference between genuine help and hidden envy protects your goals. If you stay true to your inner vision and don't allow yourself to be distracted, you will become strong enough to rise above negative influences. If you stop constantly seeking approval from others, you can follow your path with true courage and confidence, regardless of what others think. You must completely let go of the burden of trying to please everyone. No one can make everyone happy, and trying to do so only drains your energy and weakens your self-esteem. When you constantly bend over backwards to meet other people's expectations, you lose yourself and distance yourself from who you truly are. The Stoics show that true peace and contentment come from living by your own values, not what others think. When you accept that you can't control what others think of you, you free yourself from the pressure to please everyone. This creates space to act honestly and stay true to yourself. When you live by your values, you feel more peace in your heart and a deeper sense of fulfillment because you know you don't have to pretend. False praise or flattery, even if it sounds nice, can be just as hurtful as criticism if accepted without thinking. Often there are hidden reasons behind it, and it's meant to influence you or give you an advantage. Flattery can give a false sense of security and cause you to rely on external approval instead of trusting in your own worth. The Stoics teach that true self-confidence comes from within, from knowing that you're doing the right thing and standing by your values. External praise, as nice as it sounds, shouldn't dictate how you feel. When you stand firm in your own honesty and self-confidence, you build a strong foundation that won't shake, no matter what others say. Accepting flattery undermines your self-esteem because it makes you dependent on other people's validation. By rejecting such words, you develop a self-esteem that is strong and independent of the opinions of others. The constant stream of pessimism, doubt, or ridicule from others should be avoided whenever possible. While it's normal to encounter differing opinions, allowing negativity to invade your thoughts can weaken your optimism and resolve. The Stoics teach us to maintain inner peace and protect our minds from influences that aren't conducive to our growth. When you focus on helpful and empowering thoughts, you create space for resilience, clarity, and positive action. Pessimism and doubt are natural reactions to difficult situations, but when they become entrenched, they can weaken your self-confidence and ability to take purposeful action. The Stoics encourage us to filter out the negative and focus on what empowers us, creating an inner environment that fosters strength and clarity during difficult times. At the heart of the Stoic attitude toward external influences is the idea of preserving one's own inner strength and freedom. When you recognize and reject what disturbs your peace or honesty, you maintain the space needed to cultivate wisdom, clarity, and purpose. This isn't about isolating yourself or rejecting others entirely, but rather about ensuring that your encounters make a positive contribution to your life. The Stoic path invites you to carefully choose what you accept and what you reject in order to create a life that reflects your true values and desires. Those who master these Stoic principles gain a quiet strength to overcome obstacles, the wisdom to navigate life with clarity, and the strength to remain calm and unruffled by the noise of the world. These principles are not about controlling or dominating others, but about developing your full potential. When you live by these values, you become someone who leads with purpose, honesty, and quiet confidence. By talking less, valuing quiet, maintaining your dreams, and making an impact through your actions, you create a charisma that inspires respect and admiration, not through pressure or tricks, but through authenticity and clear goals. From focusing on your path to building strong self-confidence, each of these keys is like a stepping stone that brings you closer to living a meaningful and impactful life. These teachings aren't just thoughts to ponder, they're tools to be used. As you implement each insight, you'll begin to build a life grounded in meaning, honesty, and strength. Each key complements the others, creating a firm foundation for growth and a spirit that can withstand any storm. What's unique about the Stoic teachings is that they show you practical steps to becoming the best version of yourself. They help you not just consider who you are, but actively shape who you want to be. Which of these principles resonates with you the most? Is there a key that stands out to you and that you can try right away? Whether it's being mindful of the moment, building self-esteem, or practicing more humility, these ideas aren't just for thinking about, they're for living. Your journey is unique, and these lessons are meant to guide you not only with clarity of thought, but also with practical action. I'm curious to hear how these keys resonate in your life. What steps are you taking to incorporate them into your daily life, your friendships, or your dreams? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories and see how these lessons resonate with you. If these insights help you, let's continue growing together. Don't miss out on other important insights. Click subscribe and activate the bell to stay informed. The path to growth and self-improvement is never ending, and I'd love to be with you every step of the way. If you know someone who could benefit from these Stoic principles, someone who also wants to achieve greatness, please spread the word. We all deserve to grow together and support each other along the way. Thank you for being here. You've already taken the first steps toward greatness. Let's continue down this path, one step at a time. Together we'll become stronger, wiser, and more resilient,